And just like that, we are back in business. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Wake 'em Up Thursdays. That's right. Wake 'em Up Thursdays is what happens when I don't stream on Wednesday and I push it back to Thursday, which is what's going on tonight. So, whenever I have to push a stream back, that opens up an opportunity for people who wouldn't normally be here on Wednesdays to show up on Thursday. So it works out for some people. Other people are going to miss the stream because they're used to me doing it on Wednesday. So anyway, I'm here. I'm ready to live stream. I'm ready to have some fun. There we go. Got the background going here, and I cleaned up the office and reorganized some stuff, and got some of my old pedals hooked up, and got my PA system hooked up again. So my goal is to get all of my music equipment hooked up and get everything all dialed in so that I can, start performing more often for you guys and start coming up with new stuff. So I spent some time reorganizing all the shit in my office and getting the pedals and stuff that I haven't used in a long time. There's certain pieces of equipment that I have not dusted off in so long, like this one. Man, I remember when I bought this so that I could sing for people, and it's just been sitting around not being used. So I finally went through the process of setting up all this shit again so that I could start playing more music for you guys and get more creative. Anyway, but tonight we got some topics to talk about, like Tony Romo getting arrested, and there's a new International Space Station blooper, and there was another scripted shooting that went down in Seattle that we haven't talked about. So there's a few different stories we can cover. I got to be honest, the news cycle is slow and boring right now, but I'm going to do what I can to give you guys a good stream tonight. So I'm not going to let boring scripted news stop me from having a hell of a stream. You guys ready to have a good time tonight? I see we got Rose Bell in the chat. Hi, Rose. All right. I see Rumford's here. He says, let's go. Let's go indeed. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Jimmy Fraun says, let's rock. And Cat I Am says, hi, Jake and Peeps. All right. Suzette Ann's here. She says, hi, Jake, Ralphie, and everyone. Ralph's laying down right now. I'll have him probably make an appearance later on in the stream when more people get here. All right. Truth is Hurts here. What's up, Truth Hurts? Glad to see you. All right. Chris Spillman, what's up, brother? Hi, Rose. Got Holden here. He's saying, what's up, Jake? Hi, Holden. Holden, thank you for sending me the screenshot of the moderator who was timing people out. So we had a moderator who was timing people out for essentially no reason. A turd in the punch bowl, so to speak. A rogue mod from a long time ago that I forgot was still a mod. And so somebody who needed to be removed. And Holden got a screenshot of this mod timing people out. So he was able to show me exactly who it was. I had got some complaints that people were getting timed out for no reason, getting banned for no reason. And looks like we had ourselves a turd in the punch bowl. And we can thank Holden for figuring out who it was, giving me the screenshot. And so I was wondering who exactly was the defector. And Holden figured it out. So thanks, Holden, for helping me get rid of that rogue mod who was timing people out for no reason. All right. So you guys ready to yes, exactly. He was paying attention, and I didn't know exactly which mod it was, and I had suspicions, but I wasn't sure for sure who it was, and Holden figured it out. So, people can say what they want about Holden, but he was paying attention and he figured out who it was. All right. So, let me go ahead and knock out these super chats, and then we will dive right into tonight's stream. It's a bit of a variety stream tonight. There's not going to be like one topic that dominates the stream. We'll kind of jump around to different stuff. I know some people don't give a shit about Tony Romo being arrested, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. And then there's a few other stories I thought we'd touch on. But once we get through these few things I had, we can do some open topic, and I can even bring some of you guys on to talk with me live if you want. So a bit of a variety open topic show tonight. So yeah, you guys ready? Let's boogie. RY says Jack Morgan interviewing Jake the Asshole. There's probably people who've never watched Jack Morgan. And so I figured we should show just a clip of one of Jack's videos. And I noticed that the video that he got the most views on out of like the last 50 videos, Jack posted this video like whining and complaining that he's not making as much money and that he had to fire his cousin or lay off his cousin as a co-host because he just isn't making as much money. So the thing about Jack, he always liked to brag about how he was making six figures, how he was hood rich Ricky. But now I guess he's not doing so well. So he made this video whining and complaining. So let me show what Jack Morgan looks like and sounds like for anyone who's unfamiliar. And then I'll knock out this impression. It'll give me some motivation. So Jack did this video where he basically was like complaining, and he titled it like this really depressing title. I feel defeated and I feel like a failure. All right. And he got a shitload of views on this one. So he got 166,000 views, 16,000 thumbs up, 4,300 comments. Jeez. And this is a video where he complains that he's not making as much money. And it outperforms the majority of his videos that he's put out in the last several months. Anyway, let's get a listen to Jack. See what he has to say about feeling like a failure.
At what point do you know when to call it quits, is what I'm saying. And unfortunately, I've reached that point where it's like, hey, we tried, man. Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for supporting me and just watching the videos. That's all that really matters. You know what? Maybe I did. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe we switch things up as you go. I've been doing this for years. Sometimes you switch it up. Things change. Change can be uncomfortable. Maybe sometimes you guys are like, he changed up. I don't like him. And that's fine. That's okay. It's cool. I'm okay with that. I've accepted the ups and downs. I've owned a business before I did YouTube. You're going to have bad months, maybe even a bad year, which is what.
All right. So basically it's a video that's 16 minutes long, and the whole thing's like that. So he doesn't watch anyone else's video. It's just him complaining about not doing good this year on YouTube, not as good as he did in years past, and that the money's not rolling in like before, and he had to let his cousin go. So he did this video, and it outperformed like his last 50 videos. So him complaining, talking about how he feels like a failure, was his best video according to the numbers that he's put out in months. That just shows you the state of YouTube right now, right? And Jack's one of these guys that he'll talk about anything. He'll talk about people not being able to afford groceries, and then the next day how new cars are too expensive, and then the next day new homes are too expensive, and then the next day People are living van life because they can't afford rent. So it's like whatever trending depression topic is being talked about by TikTokers and whatnot, Jack will make a video watching their video, just reiterating what he sees in the video. It's like the lowest, easiest form of content that you can just make every day. So Jack makes a video every day. That's the one thing I'll give him. But every day it's just like, huh, these houses, they're so expensive. Have you guys seen the cost of food? Yeah, I make good money and we spend a lot on food because, you know, I refuse to eat crappy food, you know. I make good money, although this year haven't been doing as good. I had to let my cousin go, and he's a good friend of mine. And you know what? I feel bad. I feel like a total failure that I can't keep my friend employed. You know, I was living the high life like Hood Rich Ricky, and now seems like I'm failing. And you know, it's just messed up. You know, a wise man once said, you got to know when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. So that's why I brought on Jake the Awake. Jake, you've been on YouTube for 10 years, and you have something I don't. You have a loyal audience who watches you live, sends you money, and it's like they truly care about you. Whereas I might get more views, I might have more subs, but I don't have a diehard following like you do. You know, this guy, Jake, I was telling my girlfriend, I used to go skateboarding. I used to go skateboarding, and we didn't have a care in the world. We would smoke some weed. We would go skateboarding. We used to watch DVDs. When was the last time you watched the DVD? Huh? It's crazy. There's kids out there that they don't even know what a DVD is. I was talking to a young guy, and I said, yeah, man, I just got finished watching a DVD. And he was like, what's that? He didn't even know what it was. I showed a DVD to him, and he was like, what is that? Right? It's crazy. Wow. Getting crazy. Take a hit, metaphorically speaking, from downtown. It's a good talk. Maria. We sound good. There you go. That's the full Jack Morgan gamut right there. So anybody ever wonder who Jack Morgan is? He's just this random dude with the most thick head of hair ever, and he makes a video on 2 channels every day just talking about whatever random crap he can find that other people are talking about. And if someone else gets a good view count on a video, he'll play their video and be like, oh, have you guys seen this? So if someone gets like 300,000 views making fun of single moms, then he'll put that guy's video on and be like, have you seen this video talking about single moms? And he'll try and ride the coattails of some other guy who got hundreds of thousands of views. Anyway, so in my opinion, guys like Jack are part of the reason why YouTube doesn't hit the same way anymore. This platform is oversaturated with dog shit, low quality content. And it's mainly because there's guys like Jack out there who can pump out a video every day. Have you guys seen the price of houses? Huh, it's crazy. Yeah. You know, I make good money, and even I can't afford to live in a big house anymore. Yeah. We had to sell my home in Florida. We had to downgrade and move to Michigan. It's crazy. Take a hit. Wow. From downtown, right? So Jack can make that video like every fucking day, twice a day for like the next 10 years, I guess. And I guess there's people who want to tune in and see that on a daily basis. I don't know. Anyway, RY, thanks for getting us started tonight with a Jack Morgan impression. All right. Anybody who follows Jack knows that that's like as good of an impression and a as well-rounded of a description of Jack that you can possibly find. All right. RY says, Jake, please do some Land on the Moon 49ers guy. All right, just for you. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Land on the moon, we'll land on the moon. Hey, take it over. we go to the moon. And then you know that we come back soon. Roof to the top, roof down low. Roof so much we got no place to go. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. And yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We take it over, roof to the moon. Just you know that we come back soon. Roof to the left, roof to the right. Cause beach you know that we rove all night. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. No, 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 no. Yes, my friend, we will come back soon. Take it over, roof to the moon. Just to know that we come back soon. We roof to the east, roof to the west. Cause beach you know that we rove the best. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. No, 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 no. Row, row, row. Everybody say row, row, row. Come on, my friend. Row, row, row. Everybody say row, row, row. Oh yeah, row, 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 rover, row, 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 rover, row. There you go. Whew. All right, I got a little reverb on that action there. All right, a little Land on the Moon. So it's funny because Land on the Moon started as me making fun of the Indian Space Agency. So they have an Indian Space Agency that supposedly landed a rover on the moon. And so I made this little snippet making fun of the news clip. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. Just making fun of the Indian Space Agency for staging a little moon landing rover guy. And it turned into me like 3 years later, still singing the song. But there's also a impression I did involving a Middle Eastern 49ers fan. And somewhere along the way, the Middle Eastern 49ers fan and the Land on the Moon guy somehow became the same guy in people's minds. But they aren't really. So Land on the Moon is a song that I created to make fun of the Indian Space Agency. And it was such a catchy jingle that it took off. And then I added more lyrics to it just for fun. 49ers guy is like a Middle Eastern store owner who I one night decided to make into a 49ers fan. And Kelly Yamaguchi thought it was so funny that she would send super chats for me to do 49ers Middle Eastern guy impression. So now here's RY mixing the two of them together. So I don't want anyone to be confused. There you go. So now you guys know the origin of Land on the Moon and 49ers guy. All right. RY says, please tell us how Middle Easterners listen to music. So if you ever walk into your corner store, and I don't know about your corner store, but there's Middle Eastern guys who own a lot of the corner stores, a lot of the general stores, right? And so they're these Middle Eastern guys, and they're there all the time. They maybe have one employee, but they basically live inside the store, and they're running the store all day. And sometimes they have their Middle Eastern music, Indian music, what have you, and it pretty much sounds like this. Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And I'm like, man, your people's music sounds so beautiful. So whenever I hear them rocking out to their Middle Eastern music, I see them behind the counter rocking out, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah. And the dude's behind the counter like rocking out. And then it occurred to me like, oh, I get off on listening to really intricate guitar solos and bass solos. And I like when a rock singer, hits these really high notes and can sing a real powerful song and then follow it up with a really cool, guitar solo. So when I hear a really awesome vocal followed up by a really killer guitar solo, I'm like, yeah, I love this. This is awesome, right? That's what gets me off musically. Whereas Middle Eastern people and Indian people, they don't give a shit about rock vocals and guitar solos. They don't give a shit about guitar and bass solos at all. Instead, what gets them off is listening to another Middle Eastern man make this noise. Right? So that's their favorite noise. And so they get off, they get their hit of musical dopamine when they hear another man go, and that's when I realize, like, oh, so like when I hear a really cool solo and I'm like, yeah, it's like the same thing as when this guy hears another man go, he goes, yeah, I love this. This is my favorite part when he goes, yeah, that's my favorite jam, right? See? That's how I realized, we're all different, but we're all kind of the same, Music speaks to all of us in different ways, There you go. I think that's how I tell that joke story. It's a joke story. There you go. All right. So RY coming in with the first 3 super chats of the night. Will says, just a layup. There was a lot of genius in the last stream. Well, it was a long one. So the last stream we went like 4.5 hours, and it was my birthday stream, and I was just going on and on and on and on, right? And then tonight I was like, okay, don't have as much to talk about. It's not my birthday anymore. There's no major psyops. The World Cup's over. There's like no major sporting events happening, just some boring baseball. So really there's not much going on. So tonight, I'm going to try and use a lot of my genius to try and turn a boring world script week into something entertaining for you guys. I'm going to lean into my physical comedy and my singing abilities tonight to try and make up for the fact that there's just not a whole lot of shit going on in the world right now. If you look around at the news and the headlines, there's a bunch of boring shit. So I'm going to do what I can tonight to take all this boring shit in the world and try and make it seem exciting. So thank you for the layup tonight, sir. Whew. Shoot from downtown. Shoots he scores. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate the generous super chat from Will. All right. Jack P. Nimble. Jack P. Quick. Jack suck on my big fat what? Just kidding. Don't do that. All right. So Jack P. Nimble, who Holden told me is formerly JP Crucino. So I'm pretty sure this is JP Crucino, who's donated several times. That's what Holden told me anyway. He says, hello, Sir Jake. Still need to catch up from the weekend stream, but wanted to make sure I sent a layup belated birthday super chat. Big thanks for what you do. So yeah, last week's stream got a bunch of birthday super chats, from all you guys who support the show. And so yeah, we went a little longer than usual last week. But so tonight I don't plan on going near as long. So there will be no 4.5 hour stream tonight, I promise. So yeah, but there was some good stuff discussed in that stream. So I recommend, if you're going to catch up on a long stream, to watch it at like 1.3 speed. And then like any part that doesn't seem interesting or whatever, if I'm rambling on, just drag the cursor along until you see me talking about something else. So there was somebody like, oh, I want to hear about what you said about ODD, but I don't want to watch a 4.5 hour stream. I'm like, just take the cursor and drag it along until you see ODD's face, and then watch that part. And then when I'm done talking about it, if you don't want to watch any of the rest, then don't. So yeah, as far as my streams go, I don't recommend that you sit there and watch 4.5 hours. Who has that kind of time? But you can just drag the cursor along and see whatever I'm talking about. And if I'm talking about Eric Dubé or ODD and that interests you, then you can watch that section, right? So that's what I do if I want to get through a long ass stream, is I'll just drag the cursor along and see what's going on and catch the most interesting parts of it, right? So yeah, if you see those long ass streams of mine and you're like, I don't have time for that, like just throw it on when you're on like on a long car ride, or like just before you go to bed at night or something. That's an easy way to catch up on them. All right. So thank you for the donation from Jack P. Nimble. And I really appreciate the birthday super chat, sir. All right. Lint away, duct cleaning says, I miss the old YouTube when quality was stressed over quantity. Yeah, when quality was greater than quantity. It's not like that now, because people realize, like a guy like Jack realizes, like, all I got to do is watch a video and then be like, this is crazy. Have you seen this? So imagine if, like, I just every day put out a video watching someone else's video, and then I go, have you guys seen this? Huh, it's crazy. Huh. Totally. I was just saying this the other day. Huh. Right? So Jack will do that every day. He's got no shame. And you know what? He makes way more money than I do and gets way more views than I do. So yeah, there's channels out there that all they do is just react to TikToks, or all they do is just bash women, you know? So there's another popular trend where guys will upload a video of like a lady from TikTok or some chick from TikTok complaining, and they'll be like, single moms. She's an old single mom and she hit the wall. She's getting what she deserves. And there's a bunch of dudes in the comments like, yeah, fuck single moms. They all deserve to die and burn in hell. And they're all like, yeah, fuck those stupid single moms. And then they'll just be like these group of guys that every day they're like, I can't wait to watch another video about how much I hate single moms. And so here's my thing. I'm not advocating that like you should love single moms, right? But like, how many times do you need to watch a video of a dude talking about how much he doesn't like single moms and how much they suck? How many TikToks of single moms who are annoying as fuck do you need to see? So I guess there's dudes who every day is the answer. Every day they need that from multiple guys. So there's these go your own way men's channels. And I totally get why men are going their own way and the dating game sucks and a lot of women out there are terrible. I get it. But every day you're going to make a video about how dating sucks and how women suck and how much you hate single moms every day. And there's channels, yes, every day they do it, and they get more views than me and do way better than me. So there's this whole culture built around like, wake up, watch a video about how much you hate women and single moms. Talk to other men in the comments and agree how much you hate those women, and then repeat that every fucking day. Here's the thing, guys. I can't do that. I just can't bring myself to do it. Even though I would probably make way more money doing that if I made a video every day about how much dating sucks, I would probably do better than what I'm doing now. I just can't make myself do it. You know why? Because I find it to be fucking terrible quality. Like it would bore the shit out of me, and I wouldn't be happy doing it. And I would just be doing it for the views and the clicks. And then you guys would catch on and you'd be like, Jake's just uploading this trash just for these views and clicks, just to appeal to these losers who hate women. So there's this culture of dudes that just like every day, all they want to do is just be like, dating sucks. Women are terrible. Yeah. You want me to show you an example of a guy who's doing better than me, and all he does is bitch every day about women? And this is like this new culture. As long as you upload a video every day, YouTube will reward you. And if your video is depressing and causes a bunch of people to bitch and moan, oh, they'll reward the fuck out of you. So here's a dude right now. He's only been around for like a couple of years. He's just blowing right on up, like slowly but surely. Dapper Dev. Have you guys seen this? Dapper Dev. He's so dapper. What I don't like about channels like this is like they might not get a ton of views, but every single day. Look, here's one for 74,000. So sometimes it's only like 20,000, 30,000. But then look, 149,000. And then Jack Morgan re-showed this one. So because he got 149,000 on this video right here, what I saw at the gym confirms why Gen Z men are choosing singleness, right? So he saw something at the gym and he tells a story about a girl he saw at the gym being a slut and a cheater. And it gets 149,000 views. And then Jack Morgan sees it. And then Jack Morgan puts on Dapper Dev's video and goes, have you guys seen this video by Dapper Dev? Huh, crazy. So then Jack Morgan watches Dapper Dev's video, and Dapper Dev's just telling this fucking story about some slut he saw at the gym. So how in the fuck does a
You got back from the gym.
Backwards hat Dapper Dev? He calls himself Dapper Dev, and he has this backwards hat and this like this goatee that he trims like every day, and then he wears a cross and he has a skull tattoo. Right? Like what the fuck? So this is in my opinion linked away exactly the quantity over quality. Every day Dapper Dev will pump out a video, and all he does is just sit in front of the camera and be like, I'm sick of these women. These women, you know, men are staying single because these women are so toxic. Tired of these women. And so, look, he's got a cross. So what does that mean? He's a Christian. Oh, but he's also got the skull tattoo, the evil skull tattoo. So backwards hat, chain, cross, earring, skull tattoo, calls himself Dapper Dev. Oh, he's so dapper. In every video, what does this dapper man do? I saw a girl at the gym, and she was being a cheater and a slut, and I know the guy that she was cheating on, and I wanted to tell the guy, and I felt so bad for him. He tells this story about some slut who cheated on some dude, and he gets 150,000 motherfucking views and tons of engagement. Like we're going to listen to some secondhand story about what happened in a gym. And so this is what I don't like, is that YouTube rewards cocksuckers like this.
And I had a conversation with somebody that I haven't seen in a while. And the conversation got into like dating and stuff. And he said, you know, man, the more I pay attention when I'm at the gym itself makes me realize how scandalous women are.
Every fucking day. This is all he does. Does better than me because he uploads every day. Does better than me. I can't bring myself to do this, to make a video like that every day. All right? You know, I went to the gym and I saw a lady, and she was being scandalous. And that's why men are choosing to stay single. Just so sick of these women. I'm so dapper. I'm the most dapper man. And I'm also a Christian. And I have skull tattoos. And you know what? I spent all this time in the gym working on my body. And then I sculpt my facial hair into the most sexy goatee possible. And I wear my totally cool backwards hat. And there's not even a woman out there that I've seen who's even worthy of my dapperness. You know, I'm a good Christian man and I want a trad wife. And all these women I see, they're so scandalous, man. I'm so sick of dating all these scandalous, terrible women. So like that type of content, men seem to fucking love it. Like all the dudes who can't get laid flock to that type of shit. So there's no shortage. It's not just this guy. There's no shortage of content like this. You can like build a fucking career just making content talking about how much women suck and how much you don't like them. Literally everything. Watch.
So I had a subscriber, Tyson, send me this video, and he asked me if I've seen this woman, and the answer is yes. I've seen this woman on Instagram. I've seen a lot of guys really kissing her feet, bowing down before her. And this clip is a good one because this is a conversation I think we do need to have. It's from Crowder Bits, and it's titled, "This Anti-Islam E-Thought is Pissing Off Female Conservative Influencers."
Oh, God. So to me, this is the type of content all you got to do is put on someone's video, hit record on the camera, and then be like, have you guys seen this lady on Instagram? I have. I don't like this lady on Instagram. We need to have a really important talk about this lady on Instagram. And this is why dating is the way it is right now. So he can do that every day. Just a 10, 15-minute video doing that every day, churning out a couple $100 a day. Imagine you churn out a couple $100 a day, just putting on your fucking backwards hat and being like, you know, I went to the gym and I saw a lady and she was being a slut and scandalous. And I don't like it. And there's all these men who are like, tell me more, Dapper Dev. Please give me more Dapper Dev. I need more Dapper Dev in my life. So this is what bothers me about YouTube, is that there's actually an audience who digs this shit so much so that I'm like, fuck, well, I guess I can't blame them. There's people actually fucking watching this who seem to like it. Right? Dude put out this video 10 hours ago, already has 12,000 views, right? So maybe not a shitload. And it's always just these like regular stupid ass comments. Stop simping, guys. I hate simps. Simps are the reason why women think they are the prize. See? So somehow somebody puts stop simping guys and get 253 thumbs up. I hate simps. 241 thumbs up. I don't get that many thumbs up on any of my comments. So I get good engagement on some of my videos. And nope, I don't get 200-300 people all hitting the thumbs up on any one person's comment. I hate simps. Oh, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Oh. Like, what the fuck is this content? So this is one of the things that makes me angry about what YouTube has become. Jack Morgans and Dapper Devs. But hey, can you blame them? If you can roll out of bed and be like, I don't like women. Groceries are expensive. Ta-da! And people are like, oh, a new video. I can't wait to see him tell me how much he doesn't like women. Can't wait to see Jack tell me about shit being expensive and how much money he used to make. But people do. They want to watch that on a daily fucking basis every day. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I'm a lazy ass because I don't pump out shit like that every day. I could do that. I could turn this channel into a fucking slop channel. But then you guys wouldn't like it. And then I would lose all my hardcore following. So I don't do that. Which is why I don't make nearly as much money or get as many views as those channels. Because I don't post all that slop. So there you go. I went on a fucking long-ass rant because of that. DC Hawaii says, please do Alex Jones reacting to Lindsey Graham dying from an exploding butt plug. Folks, you know, just when I think I have seen it all, nothing seems to amaze me anymore. Then along comes a story that just absolutely freaking blows my mind. Folks, I don't know if you've heard, but Lindsey Graham, she died recently from a freaking exploding butt plug, folks. Now, this is new deep state technology that they're using. And I got to be honest, I'm afraid at any point they might try and blow my ass up. You know, while I was sleeping, they may have stuck one of these exploding butt plugs up my ass without me knowing. In fact, I felt like I had some sort of constipation this whole week. So, folks, I'm not lying. At any point, the deep state could press a button and literally blow my fucking ass to kingdom come. But, folks, my message will not die. This truth that I'm telling you shall never cease to make it to the ears of those who really want the real truth. So, folks, if I wake up tomorrow with my ass exploded, I just want you to know I love all of you out there. I'm doing this for all you. And I'm doing this for the man upstairs. We shall not be defeated. We shall not go quietly into the night, even if you explode my friggin' ass with a friggin' butt plug. All right. There you go. There you go. A little exploding butt plug Alex Jones for that ass. Going out to D.C., Hawaii. Got trout fishing at Hood Park with a very generous super sticker. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Trout fishing, Hood Park. And it's a like a little samurai fox holding a trophy, the super sticker. Now that I'm taking a look at it on my watch page. Thank you, Trout Fishing at Hood Park. Longtime loyal supporter of the show, has donated more times than I can count. So thank you once again, Trout Fishing at Hood Park. I appreciate that, brother. All right. We got Bull in the No says, Jake, we only want to hear of NFL. Stop this stuff. All right. So you're either trying to trigger me or you're one of those NFL fanboys who can't handle me talking about anything else outside of scripted football. And there are those guys. I've come to accept that there are certain people who follow my channel who can't handle me talking about politics being scripted, handle me talking about the earth not being a globe. Oh, no. Dude, don't talk about the earth being flat. You're going to make everyone look stupid. You're going to make the NFL rig subject look stupid if you talk about the flat earth. Shh. All right, I get it. So there's some of these sports ball losers who gravitated to my channel because I told them that the sports ball that they worshipped their whole life was fake. And then they're like, you're right, Jake. And they watch the NFL breakdowns. But then when I tell them that Donald Trump is a figurehead on the world stage and that there's multiple Trumps that they're using and AI Trumps, they're like, dude, don't talk about politics. Stick to football, man. All right, so there's guys who, if I say anything about Trump, they'll lose their fucking mind. And it seems like there's these football fans who voted for Trump and they still believe in the world stage and they still believe in politics and they still believe the shit on the news. But I was the guy that woke them up to the NFL being fake. So they only want to support that one type of content. It's very strange. Whereas then there's other people who follow my channel who've been following me talking about conspiracies for like a decade. And to them, the football stuff is lame. So there's some people who don't care about the football content at all. And then there's other guys who only want the football content and don't want anything else. So I've come to accept that I have multiple different types of subscribers under the same umbrella. And there's literally no way for me to please everybody all the time. There's always going to be somebody like, don't talk about the flat earth. You're going to make us look stupid. And then there's other people like, how come you don't talk about the flat earth anymore? So yeah, I don't know if this guy was trying to trigger me with this or what, but yeah, a good way to get yourself banned is when football season ends and I start talking about other stuff. If you're one of the guys that shows up and tells me to stick to football, it's a good way to get yourself banned from the channel. All right. Rex James. with a donation. Says, happy belated birthday, Jake. Well, thank you very much, Rex James. I appreciate that. Yeah, turned 43 on Sunday, July 26th. So we're a few days now, 4 days now removed from my birthday. So it's a bit belated, but I appreciate it nonetheless. It was a good birthday. I streamed the night before and got a bunch of super chats from you guys, a whole bunch of birthday wishes, and then in the comments section, just tons and tons of birthday wishes. So thank you, everybody, for all the birthday wishes and the belated ones too. And I'm sure there's still going to be a few more trickling in. So thank you to all the extra belated birthday wishes that are going to come a trickling in. All right. ROI says, can please you have Richie from Boston segue into the Tony Romo topic? All right. Richie from Boston segues into the Tony Romo topic.
So later on tonight, I don't know if you guys saw this, but former Dallas Cowboys quarterback was arrested for a DUI. Now, it looks like he had one too many drinks, and then he decided to get behind the wheel. And when he went through the field sobriety test, he thought that he was passing, but he indeed was failing, and he was giving these officers everything they needed to build a case against him and arrest him. So we're going to be taking a look at Tony Romo's DUI arrest later tonight, and we're going to be asking ourselves, was this a real arrest? Or is this more scripted shenanigans on the world stage? You're going to want to stick around. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to like. You're going to want to share. And, of course, you're going to want to subscribe. Or don't. At any rate, this is Richie from Boston doing a segue into later tonight's topic about Tony Romo. I'm out.
There you go. Jonathan Luna says, speak love, healing, and miraculous probability on yourself and others. Do so with fearless confidence and trust therein. Much love and goodness and all of the rest, my brother. Excellent super chat right here. You know, I appreciate you guys, you know, the layup super chats and the kind words and the impression requests and the silly song requests. I love all of it. And then every once in a while, you get a deep, heartfelt statement like this coming in from a longtime supporter, Jonathan Luna, who's been following the channel for like 10 years, and a guy who I met in Atlantic City many years ago. So glad to see you here supporting the channel, sir. And those are some good words that you posted on the screen. We could all take something away from a comment like this one. All right. And I'm going to knock out these super chats, and then we're going to jump right into the show. RY says, I think the problem with most of these channels today is that most of them get views by reacting to others' channels, but not putting out new content. Yes. So that wasn't really a thing 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. I would argue that 5 years ago, there wasn't nearly as many people just reacting to TikToks and reacting to other people's videos. And this recycling of the same shit. Like, I've seen 10,000 different versions of groceries are expensive, right? So there's no shortage of videos talking about groceries being expensive. And I get it. Groceries are expensive. The other day I was at like a bargain store, and I saw this roast, a beef roast, and it was on sale for $30. A tri-tip roast was on sale for $30, and it was marked down from $50. A tri-tip. It was a good sized tri-tip, but still a just one tri-tip, $50, and it was marked down on sale clearance for $30. So yeah, I know that groceries are fucking expensive, but do I need to make a video about that? And I have. I made a video about it once. Do I need to make 2 videos about it? Do I need to make 3? Do I need to make a video every month talking about groceries being expensive? So here's the thing. groceries are expensive, and apparently talking about that is a very clickable thing. But does there need to be 10,000 videos about it? I don't see the groceries getting any fucking cheaper, right? So how much time do you want to spend delving into that content? And I can tell you, if I watch one too many of them videos, it depresses me, starts making me feel shitty. Like, oh man, food's just going to keep getting more expensive, and I'm just going to have to keep eating shittier food, you know, and it'll start to psychologically mess with me. So yeah, I'm noticing that the doom and gloom, depressing content is being pushed to the tippity top. So fewer people are making videos that are uplifting or have a positive message. More and more people are making videos with some sort of negative, depressing vibe, right? You know, like that Dapper Dev dude is a good example. I went to the gym and I don't like what I saw, right? Every day. So yeah, these channels that are rehashing other people's content, the same subjects over and over and over again, you know, the continuation of these channels just gonna bash women every day, you know. Like 5 years from now, we're going to check on Dapper Dev and he's going to have almost 1 million subs. And he's going to be like, I'm so sick and tired of these slutty women at the gym. They're making me mad, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's sad that that's what it's become. But, you know, people are clicking that and watching it, right? If people would stop watching those motherfuckers. Now, they aren't getting as many views as they used to. But still, people are still clicking and still watching that trash over and over and over and over again. So as long as people are clicking and watching and there's a paycheck coming in, then there's going to be somebody who has no problem pretending to be interested in that subject, right? So Jack Morgan will pretend to be interested in anything if he thinks he can get some views. Have you guys seen these used cars aren't selling as much as they used to? Let's go on Zillow and take a look at how much houses cost in New Jersey. Here's a house in New Jersey. Oh, can you believe how expensive it is in New Jersey? Right? So there's people out there who will click on that and be like, wow, I watched a video of Jack looking at the price of houses in New Jersey. It was so exhilarating. I can't wait to watch him tomorrow to see what he talks about. Meanwhile, I'm like, who in the fuck wants to sit and watch Jack talk about how expensive shit is, or watch Jack watch some other fucking person's video every day? But they do. They do. RY says, Dapper Man translating for Stephen Hawking. You know, this is what really makes me sick about modern women. Stephen Hawking said that he went to the gym recently and there were all these women and they were dressed in like strippers' clothes. Like, we don't go to the gym to look at scandalous women, all right? Some of us go there because we genuinely want to improve our body. You know, we want to improve upon our looks, and we want to exercise, and we want to feel good. We don't want to stare at your stripper body and your stripper tattoos. Stephen Hawking, he when he was just mumbling, you know, it really hit home that he said that every time he goes to the gym, all he sees are tramps and tramp stamps. And I'm really sick and tired of this. You know, is there any woman out there who's not a tramp anymore, who doesn't have a tramp stamp? I can't even remember the last time I saw a woman who wasn't a tramp and who didn't have a tramp stamp. So whenever I go to the gym and I see all these women who, quite frankly, they look like prostitutes with their tramp stamps, you know, it just makes me sick. And that's what Stephen Hawking, he just told me. And I totally agree. There you go. Yeah, that's what happens when Stephen Hawking goes to the gym. He gets disgusted by all the tramps and their tramp stamps. Of course. Lint away, duct cleaning says, I can only upload lint or no views. Algorithm is tough. Yeah, but you built your channel on that. You can't call your channel lint away air duct cleaning and then post a bunch of videos cleaning lint and then think that you're going to post a video about van life, right? Or post a video breaking down the Stephen Hawking psyop, right? So, yeah, man, the algorithm and YouTube, they want to pigeonhole their content creators into a niche, and that's one thing I don't like. And so I've always tried to steer clear of being pigeonholed into a niche, because if you get pigeonholed into a niche, then every single title, every single thumbnail becomes the same and repetitive. But for some people that works. So there's channels that like every thumbnail is the same, every title is nearly identical, and it works for them. For instance, here's another men going their own way channel, but I think it's like almost like an AI channel. And every single thumbnail, every single title is the same title. So check this out. I'm sure some of you men have probably seen this channel. Men Talk. Sincerely, we don't care. My channel, Men Talk. It's about the reason why men are walking away from dating. So look, the reason why men are walking away from dating, episode 722. The reason why men are walking away from dating, episode 721, right? So every fucking title is the same except for the episode number, and every thumbnail is some chick and then some sort of sexual message. I want to ride them all. Use the back door. I don't swallow. And every single one, he gets, over 30,000 views. So somewhere between 30,000 and 100,000 views on every video. Every single one the same. Use the back, and he'll use the same words on his thumbnail. Use the back door. Why men are walking away from dating, and then there'll be some slut going, use the back door. And then it's the same guy with the same voice.
This is a hot take.
You never get to see his face. He plays the girl's video, the TikTok, and then he gives his very basic man advice. Sincerely, we don't care. None of us men care about what you are going through because we don't care.
But we are going to say girl die.
One of us doesn't commit to just one of them. It's not rocket science, sweetie. It's your own hypergamy working against you.
Which makes me feel better, but it also makes me feel more ridiculous.
He's building himself into the successful, good-looking 37-year-old man.
So this is another example of low quality, easy to make content that you can pump out every day. So I don't want people to think I'm jealous or I'm bitching and complaining because I wish my channel was like this. No, this is part of the reason why YouTube sucks donkey dicks, is because I'm a man and I'm gonna make a channel called Man Talk, and I'm gonna use this avatar and I'm gonna play TikToks and I'm going to talk, and every single video is going to be why men are walking away from dating. Every single thumbnail will have some slut talking about, I want to ride it, I swallow, use my back door. So what I do is I get all of these horny simps to click on my video, and then I make fun of these women, and then I say, sincerely, we don't care. And then you repeat and you watch the next video the next day. Like, he's been just every day. So in my opinion, this is like something AI can shit out, right? How do you know it's even a dude making this? And I can stop on any of these random videos. Look, the reason why men are walking away from dating, episode 686, 180,000. And then the next one, 32,000. So what is it that makes episode 686 get 180,000, but episode 687 only gets 32,000. So I just can't bring myself to make every fucking thumbnail the same and every title the same. But I guess if I would have done this, if I would have just made every fucking video the same title and every single thumbnail the same, and I just did a niche, maybe that's the way to go. But here's the thing. I can't have 10 channels. I can't have an NFL rigged channel and a conspiracy channel and a silly song channel and an impression channel. I can't have all these different channels. So somehow I'm trying to do all these different forms of content under one banner. And it's like I'm doing it because I'm doing all these different forms of content, and I have different types of thumbnails and different titles. I get punished. So YouTube's like, oh, a channel that isn't picking a niche and isn't doing the same thing over and over and over and over with the same style of thumbnail like this every time. Yeah, let's punish that guy. So yeah, sadly, I'm one of the few channels that doesn't pigeonhole myself in order to get the maximum amount of views, right? So I don't just like stick to this one little niche over and 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 over. But other channels do that, and their fans just love it. So I guess there's guys who want to watch the man talk video every day to see some TikTok slut that wants you to use the back door, and then a guy going,
Sweetie, none of us want to have sex with you because you probably have STDs. Sincerely, we don't care.
right? So when I see the shit that gets views and how many subs that these channels amass, and the content that they crank out every day, hell yeah, it irritates me because I still do things the old-fashioned way. Like I make my own thumbnails. Each one of my thumbnails is different. I actually sit there and think, what's my video about? How can I make my thumbnail show what my video is about? You know, how can I get people to click on this thumbnail, you know, like the old-fashioned organic way? Or as these other channels, you know, just stick some slut's face on the thumbnail and then put use the back door. And a million fucking simps are going to click. So yeah, man. The stuff that I see out there on this platform that gets views and what works, it's depressing if I think about it too much. That's why I have to not think about it and just do my own damn thing. Vincent Biagini with a very generous super chat. Wow, and a super sticker. And it's a dude with a like a little green thing jumping around. Wow. It's like a person who's like, I don't know, a lemon. It's like a lemon cartoon person holding some little green goblin ghost thing. Cool. Awesome super sticker. But thank you for the very, very generous super chat here. You know, I know not everybody can afford to donate. So those of you who can and who do, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. And your donations are what keeps this channel going. You know, I'm not cranking out content talking about use the back door with some slut's face, you know. So I'm trying to do a live stream, being a real guy, showing my actual face. That's another thing. There's a lot of channels that use avatars. They don't go on screen. So they'll have an avatar as their likeness, you know. So I'm one of the few guys who actually like will go on camera, use my face and my own mouth to deliver my message. So there's channels out there that never go live. You never see them do this. And people are cool with that. And so I will pose the question, how do you know that's not totally an AI channel? So yeah, there's channels that use an avatar, never show their face. You don't get to see their mouth moving. It's like, AI has reached the point that these channels can like basically use a sample of their voice and then just have AI take over. They can just have AI crank out these low quality fucking videos every day, if that's how easy it is. Like, just take an AI sample of my voice and then have an avatar of me that represents me, and then put on some random TikToks, and then just have the AI version of me make fun of the TikToks. You don't never get to see. So if you stop seeing me use my face, you stop seeing me go live, and if every video was just like an avatar version of me, I would hope that one of you would be like, hey, did Jake's channel become AI? Because there's a lot of channels that have become AI. At least that's what it seems like to me. And their subs don't even really notice. Nothing but Nate with a donation says, NFL normie turned truther. Thanks for waking me up, Jake. Glad to hear it. So I have woken up a lot of NFL fans, and some of them do watch my other content, and then I show them that not only is the NFL scripted, but your politics is fake and scripted, every bit as much as pro wrestling. And the voices are even fake and scripted in a lot of ways. And a lot of these characters on the world stage are nothing more than figureheads and actors. And so, yeah, for some people, the process of waking up to everything being scripted and fake pretty much starts with watching one of my NFL breakdowns. So glad to see that you're here supporting the channel. Glad to hear that it was the NFL content that turned you into a truther. Because there's people out there that thought that me doing the NFL videos are like not worth my time. There's some people who are like, oh, Jake, quit talking about sports being scripted. You should talk about more important stuff. But I have been able to wake up a lot of new people and get a lot of new people on board through the NFL content. So I'm going to stick with it. And the next season is right around the corner. So the very next NFL season, the next preseason game is next week. So in a week from tonight, they're going to do the first preseason game of the year. And then September, the regular season kicks off, and I will do the week 1 edition of the top 10 most scripted plays. And then all these people who haven't watched the channel in months will come flooding back to see the video. All these disgruntled sports fans come flooding back for week 1, top 10 most scripted plays. All right. Lance Bigger with a donation. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. No message attached, but a super chat coming in, which I appreciate nonetheless. Lint away with another super chat, says, you're the last real YouTuber. I miss classic YouTube. No, there are other YouTubers out there, but as far as like talking about the truth and doing a live stream like this, yeah, there's nobody like me. There's no channel like this. So there's only a few other channels out there that will even use the terms world stage or talk about the news being scripted ahead of time. So very few channels will bring up the fact that the news is scripted. So yeah, you're looking at one of the only channels out there that talks about how the mainstream media and the government are in collusion and that they work together and script these events and make it appear to the public that history is organically, naturally unfolding. But in reality, most of the historical events, most of the big events that we see are psychological operations. And so if you take away these scripted psychological operations, we actually live in a very uneventful, boring place. So if you take away the government and the world stage script writers staging these psychological operations, if you were to just have them stop and then we were just to wait for news to happen and big events to occur, it would be so boring and uneventful. So that just goes to show you all of the major events that go down are scripted. And when they quit scripting huge psychological operations for even a short time, like these last few months while the World Cup was going on, I noticed a significant decrease in world stage shenanigans, a huge decrease in psychological operations while the World Cup was going on. And so this whole summer so far, I would argue, has been one of the more boring stretches of time with some of the least amount of psychological operations. And I'm one of the few people who will even explain that and point it out, right? So you're watching one of the last YouTubers who can even explain what I just said to you, right? And it's so easy to explain. It's very basic that the news is scripted ahead of time. Government, mainstream media work together to script these psychological operations. So something as simple as explaining that, very, very few channels have the balls to say that, or they don't believe that, and they still believe that all this scripted news is actually happening. So there's so many people out there who can't wrap their mind around the news being scripted that even if I tell them as basically as I just explained it, they'll be like, oh, you're crazy. You're full of shit. That's all bullshit. And they'll just default into the world script, believing it's all the stuff happening on the world stage is genuine history unfolding. But you take away the script, history doesn't really unfold. Shit is so boring and uneventful that if they don't script their psyops, it's as if we live in like the most uneventful fucking realm. All right. Rex James with a donation says, everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit. Jake, you are an OG. So this reminds me of a comedian who was doing open mics and was getting popular. And he was from my hometown of Modesto. And he was getting popular as a stand-up comic. And he was doing these comedy clubs in Sacramento and in the Bay Area, building a name for himself, climbing the ladder the old-fashioned way. And but he's this like Mexican German dude, and he's a normie, and he still believes in the world stage. So something like George Floyd, he bought hook, line, and sinker, and would get all pissed off at white people over like shit that he saw on TV. And so there was this guy who came to one of his comedy shows and was talking shit. And during the comedy show, he got into it with somebody in the audience. And this dude in the audience has some pull locally. He like knows a lot of people in Modesto. And so he started putting the word out that this guy Anthony is a dick and will try and act like he's a gangster. And so Anthony, this comedian, was like pissed off that this dude was talking shit in Modesto and costing him gigs. And so he told this dude who was talking shit that he would greenlight him and that he knows people in Modesto who will take his life. So this dude Anthony, he's a comedian in Modesto. He threatened someone in the audience's life. And this dude went to the cops and took this threat to the cops, and they arrested this comedian, Anthony. And then it was on the news. So not everything that's on the news is totally scripted. There was a comedian that threatened a dude's life acting like a gangster, and he got arrested for doing it. So it's funny. And he never made it out of the local scene. So he never made it as a big time comic. And so I don't know why I had to tell that story, but anyway, so it just reminded me of a time where a dude who's not a gangster acted like he was a gangster, like he could put a hit on somebody and get someone killed. And the dude just went to the cops and told on him. And the cops immediately went and fucking tracked him down and arrested him. And it ruined his reputation. Anyway. So yeah, man, there's guys who will act like they're gangsters, and it immediately bites them in the ass. And then they find out real quick that they're not gangsters. I'm not one of them. So I've never claimed to be a gangster, or I don't claim to go do gangster shit. But I guess you can consider me an OG because I've been doing this for a long time. All right. Holy shit, that was a long-ass story that I didn't need to tell. Lint away. Air duct cleaning says, Jake, can you do a breakdown of scripted chess? I didn't know there was scripted chess going on. I didn't know that there was like a chess game where people are betting money to where somebody's going to purposely throw a chess game. So I guess if two guys were playing chess and you were to bet money on it, that one guy could throw the game on purpose. But I didn't know that there was scripted chess. So I can't really do a breakdown because I've never sat and watched two men play like a professional game of chess. And I don't really have the want or the desire to do that. So no, I can't. Thank you for the super chat, but no, not going to break down any scripted chess. How about you break down scripted chess? I think you would be the guy for that job. You would be better suited to break down some scripted chess. I'm not the right guy for the job. People ask me over and over again to break down the World Cup, and I said no over and over again because I just don't give a flying fuck about soccer. Likewise, I don't give a flying fuck about chess, right? So anything that I don't give a flying fuck about, I just don't really want to be the guy that has to break it down. So therefore, you should be that guy. You should start a new channel, scripted chess breakdowns. And then put on your thumbnail a picture of a slut playing chess like this. And then put use the back door, and I'm sure you're going to get tons of views. All right. Tristan Spindler with a super chat says, been a fan since 2017. Met you in person at the Spokane, Washington meetup. Thanks for all of the hard work, my guy. That was a fun meetup. So the Spokane meetup actually was a success because quite a few people showed up, and it was on a whim, and I only promoted it for like a day. So for me, showing up to Spokane and only promoting that for like a day, and then like, I don't know, a dozen people showed up to that restaurant. So many, like enough people showed up that they had to tell us to settle down. And then that was the night that Rocky, this other guy who subscribes to the channel, Rocky showed up, and he was drinking a few too many brewskis, and he was getting loud and carried away. They had to come tell us to shut up. So yeah, there was this group of my subscribers that showed up to this restaurant in Spokane, that it went from being like a table of 6 people to a table of 8 people to then we took over 2 tables, and then we were getting a little loud and carried away that the managers were like, all right, guys, is this all, or more people are going to show up? You guys you need to stop. You need to, it's almost like they wanted us to leave because the group kept getting bigger and louder. It was a good time. All right. Got lint away duck cleaning. This is a scripted World Series of Poker. You know, it's such a big enough event that it wouldn't shock me if they've got a bunch of people in the tournament, you know, purposely losing hands to certain guys, you know. So imagine you got some plants in the World Series of Poker, and their job is to purposely dump their chips into a certain player's lap, right? So that certain players are guaranteed to make it into the final rounds. So yeah, anybody willing to pony up, the entry fee for the World Series of Poker, you got to figure that they have several players whose job it is to put you all in. And then once they've effectively chopped out several players, then they can dump all their chips into certain guys' laps on purpose, right? For sure. Yeah, you would never catch me entering the World Series of Poker. Hell no. In fact, I don't like going to casinos and playing. I tried it a few times and I always just keep getting dealt shit hands. And then my body language, I always feel like the other players can read my body language. Right? So there's something about whenever I try and go out and play poker, like with a bunch of strangers in like a casino atmosphere, like I never quite feel like I have the edge. And there's so many good players, and all it takes is one hand where you think you've got the best hand and someone's got just a slightly better hand than you, and they can totally wreck your world. So the swings of poker, especially like no limit hold'em, the swings, in the bad beats, I just don't like it. So I don't play poker anymore. But there was a time where poker was all the rage. So I remember the poker boom back in the late 90s, early 2000s. The poker boom just took off on ESPN, and all these people started getting into poker and watching poker and playing poker. So yeah, late 90s, early 2000s, it was like kaboom, just exploded to where kids at school were playing poker. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't really play anymore. And then online, I remember playing some online poker and thinking like, they could totally screw me over with this online poker, because it's no way for me to know for sure if they're not just dealing me computer cards that are going to make me lose on purpose in big hands, right? Or how do I know that some of the other players aren't like computer players that can see what I have, So yeah, playing online, I always thought that has to be rigged too. There's no way they're going to let you win that much money online. Eventually, they're going to take it back from you. All right. I think we're down to my last super chat, and then we can start the show. Holy cow. So every once in a while, I'll get like 30, 40 super chats in a row. And tonight has been one of those nights. So we've been on here almost an hour and a half, and all I've done is read super chats. Lint Away Duct Cleaning says, breakdown on if WWE is scripted. You can bet on it. So a video I've thought about making, but I don't know if, YouTube will take too kindly, is how it's the entire women's division is a bunch of transformers, right? So I've pointed out many times that like almost all of the women's roster just appear to be dudes with implants, but no WWE fans ever talk about it or ever complain about it. So like, for instance, Jade Cargill, if I pull up images and then I show it to, and then I show you guys, like my audience, if I say, hey, what does this look like to you guys? I already know what you guys are going to say. Like if I say, what do you guys think about this person? Right? What are you guys going to say? What does this look like to you guys? Now, I already know what you guys are going to say. But exactly. Right? But here's the thing. WWE fans, literally like none of them say anything about these performers being male. Instead, you know what they say? Jade Cargill's so awesome. She has so much potential. Oh my God, I can't wait to see Jade Cargill wrestle Rhea Ripley. Oh, so WWE fans think that these are real women, all of them, and they lust after them, and they beat off while thinking and looking at these. And they're like, yeah, Jade Cargill. She's so strong and awesome. Oh, Jade Cargill. Oh, right. Meanwhile, I'm like, you guys, am I the only one that like notices how obvious this is? Right. And it's not just that one. It's like supposedly Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte Flair, is a lady. But I've pointed out many times that dude don't look like a lady. Right? So when you look at Charlotte Flair and you look at the straight up and down body and the shoulders, right? The hips don't lie. Right? So if I say, hey, what do you guys think of this individual right here? Well, wrestling fans think that that's Ric Flair's daughter, right? Wrestling fans look at that and they think that that's just Ric Flair's daughter. Meanwhile, I'm like the only dude online who's pointed out that Ric Flair had a son named Reed Flair who supposedly died. So, what are the chances that they took Reed Flair and turned him into Charlotte Flair? Oh, I think pretty good. But I'm the only one on the entire internet who will say anything about it. So, every WWE fan that's in the stands, they think that these buff, steroided out individuals are all ladies. I never see any of the other, like any of the WWE fans, like angry that the product is turned into Transformers wrestling most of the time. So back in the 80s, like, or the 90s, there was maybe one women's match on the card, and the women's matches sucked because women aren't very good at wrestling. So back in the day, you'd have maybe one women's match, and then all the rest of the matches were dudes wrestling each other, right? Dudes pretending to fight, because that's what the product is built upon. Watching two guys pretend to fight and building up a story and a spectacle so that you to give people a reason to watch a pretend fight. Watch two guys pretend to fight. If you can get the right two guys to pretend hard enough and have the right story to make them appear like they're really wanting to kill each other. If you can take the right bad guy and the right good guy, the right heel and the right baby face, and pair them up with the right story, you can get a shitload of people to show up and a shitload of people to care, more so than a real fight. And I would argue that a well-scripted, well-done wrestling match between two good performers is more entertaining than watching a real fight. So when it's done right, the business of two guys pretending to fight is quite entertaining. But WWE turned it into Transformers wrestling half the time. So now you don't get the majority of the matches where it's two males. No, it's like half of the matches are two Transformers who look like this wrestling. So I would argue that the reason why the product is in the toilet right now, the product is worse than it's ever been, is because the half of the matches now are literally Transformer matches. But the fans think that those are ladies, right? Like, check this out. Like this one girl looks like Michael Jackson, and people think that she's like so fine and so hot. They're like, oh, Liv Morgan is so hot. But like the more I look at Liv Morgan, the more it starts to look like Michael Jackson to me. Like I see like a Michael Jackson face, right? There's something about this person's looks. It's like if you look at her from far away with blurry eyes, it might trick you into thinking it's a hot chick. But then when you look closer, you take a close look, it starts to turn into this like plastic thing, right? Right? Plastic looking nose, just a fake face, right? Drawn on, painted eyebrows, right? So the more I look at some of these WWE women, the more I'm like, ugh, how come I'm like the only guy who talks about why the product sucks donkey dick right now? Is mainly because it's mostly all Transformer wrestlers now on every show. So yeah, one of the reasons why the WWE product is so terrible right now is that they stopped telling stories. They stopped promoting big matches between baby faces and heels, and they focused on just churning out weekly content, crapping out weekly content, low quality, low effort shit, and then focusing on these Transformers. And then they overpriced the tickets, and they're trying to rip off the fans as much as possible. So SummerSlam is going to happen in the Vikings Stadium, and the ticket sales are so abysmal that they had to lower the ticket prices several times, and they still can't sell it out. So the SummerSlam event, that's the WWE's second biggest event of the year. They have it scheduled for this coming weekend in the Vikings Stadium, 2 nights in the Vikings football stadium. And so far, they've only got like a third of the stadium sold. So the stadium's going to be like half empty both nights, which is going to be pretty embarrassing for the company. So they essentially booked themselves into a gigantic venue while the product right now is the worst it's ever been, and the attendance and the ticket sales are falling off of a fucking cliff. So yeah, this weekend they're going to put on an event in a football stadium where nobody really wants to go watch that shit anymore. And they're going to have to give away tickets in order to get people to show up and watch that shit. And I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, wrestling was red hot. The Rock, Stone Cold, Mick Foley, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. They were killing it. They were getting 5 to 10 million people a week watching that shit. And now they struggle to get 1 million people to watch that shit each week. All right. Rex James says, Jake, do you think that the weather or the wrestler who offed his family back in 2007 was real? There was a random message posted a few days before it happened. There's so many conspiracies within the WWE as far as like guys dying in a very suspicious way, and the deaths are treated as real. And so, yeah, I would argue that the Chris Benoit murder story, where Chris Benoit, this wrestler who was known for being great in the ring, but he sucked at cutting promos. He couldn't talk and cut any good promos, but in the ring, he was excellent. That this guy like just decided one night to murder his family and himself. Yeah, so that story is strange. But then there's also Owen Hart supposedly falling to his death during a pay-per-view. And then there was several other wrestlers, who died of suspicious reasons. Eddie Guerrero, Test, and there's several Bray Wyatt, And so there was wrestlers in their 30s and 40s in like their prime who would just mysteriously be dead. And then you're left to wonder, like, was it steroids? Did Vince McMahon like off these guys behind the scenes or something? And so I wondered if Vince at one point was getting rid of some of his wrestlers who double crossed him or who didn't do what he said or wanted, but I can't say for sure. And then Vince McMahon, his character got replaced several years ago, and I'm like the only person who noticed and made a video about it. So Vince McMahon, I think at some point they either had him stop being the manager of the WWE and they gave him a position possibly in the script writing department for the world stage, or possibly the government came in and strong arm took the WWE away from Vince McMahon and got rid of Vince McMahon. So either Vince McMahon had the company taken from him forcibly, or perhaps they promoted him and gave him a job in the world stage script writing department, because the WWE at this point appears to be like a government run business. It's like they don't care if the fans aren't buying tickets. They don't care if the product sucks. Whereas Vince, like when he ran it, he was meticulous and he made sure that the business was running as best as it possibly could. And he made sure to market it to where he didn't make it too expensive for families. And he made sure to have his top guys and the top matches. And so ever since they removed Vince, or ever since Vince stopped running the product, it's been like so terrible. It's like absolutely god awful. So at some point they replace Vince and then they put an imposter Vince McMahon on the screen every once in a while. They'll have a still shot or the story where Vince McMahon got arrested or got a DUI or whatever, or what was it? He crashed his car or something. So they have this fake Vince McMahon character that they've been using on screen that doesn't look like the original Vince. So they've used like 4 or 5 different Vince imposters. And I show all of the different imposters in my Vince McMahon was replaced video. So I'm like the only guy who's paid enough attention and remembered to know that Vince McMahon got replaced, that they're using Transformer wrestlers, and that several of these wrestlers died under mysterious, suspicious circumstances. Yeah, man. So there's a whole lot of weird, wicked shit when it comes to that company. Way more than meets the eye. And so, God, there was another guy, Brian Pillman, who came up dead out of nowhere. And then Vince interviewed his wife on live television like the week after he died. And the wife was like pretending to cry. But the death was treated as real by everyone. To this day, Brian Pillman's considered to be dead, but Vince McMahon interviewed his supposed grieving widow wife the week after he died, and she was trying her best to fake cry. So I've seen some weird shit where it seems like a storyline that the wrestler died, but the wrestler is dead supposedly in real life, right? So a lot of these wrestler deaths, it seems almost like it should have been like a wrestling storyline, like they should only be dead in wrestling kayfabe. But no, they're like dead for real, supposedly. So then I'm wondering, like, okay, do they get sacrificed? Do these guys like take steroids and then get like a heart attack and then die suddenly? Or do they have a scripted death, some of them? So perhaps each wrestler, has a different thing that happened to them. But there's so many different scripted, or not scripted, but suspicious deaths with that company that it would take me several streams to go through all of it. And even then, we still wouldn't be able to get to the bottom of it. And a lot of people don't give a fuck about wrestling because they were like, oh, it's all fake. But there were guys who died under very strange circumstances who were popular in wrestling that to this day, I can't tell you exactly what happened. So yeah, man, I wish I could tell you what went down with Chris Benoit. You know, my heart tells me it's some sort of scripted story, that it didn't go down the way they say, but I can't tell you for sure, like, if he's actually dead or what. I know that there's some videos that say that he didn't kill his family and that he was sacrificed, but I'm not going to take the conspiracy bait and say that he was sacrificed and that it was like an inside job, because I just don't know. All right. I think I've caught up on super chats. So I guess I could start the show. All right. So let's throw on the Tony Romo. Or before we get to the Tony Romo video, there was 2 short videos that I saw. So there was a shooting in Seattle, and the News is Fake 4 did a video showing one of the actors who was at that psyop cracking and laughing and smiling. So let's knock down the Seattle, since this video is only like 2 minutes long. And I'll show you guys the News is Fake 4's latest video. And then we'll move on to the Tony Romo DUI. Oh yeah, and I have a International Space Station blooper that I found by Level Earth Observer. We'll check that out.
Loved ones are heartbroken tonight following Sunday's deadly shooting. 3 people were killed in that gunfire, including 2 innocent bystanders.
Fox 13 Shira Matsuzawa shares how friends and family are describing the 2 victims lost and the incredible impact they left behind.
Please say their name.
As investigators piece together what happened during Sunday's deadly shooting, family and friends of the 2 bystanders killed are now piecing together how to move forward without their loved ones.
She had a great sense of humor, very colorful person. I would consider her an artist, a creative type, and a free spirit. A free spirit. Free spirit. Definitely, she loved the freedom that the state offered her.
Check it out. Quite the smile, right? Big grin here. And then this chick right here, she said, I would consider her. It's kind of weird. I definitely would consider her. Yeah, just like you're gonna con us right now. Consider her, right?
Piece together what happened during Sunday's deadly shooting. Family and friends of the 2 bystanders killed are now piecing together how to move forward without their loved ones.
She had a great sense of humor, very colorful person. I would consider her an artist, a creative type, and
I would consider her
a free spirit. A free spirit. Free spirit. Definitely, she loved the freedom that the state offered her.
Ashley Whitehead's cousins talked with Fox 13 during a vigil Monday.
Ashley, so much fun. She was just always laughing, like full of life.
They say she was a loving mother, loved life and her family.
Say it if you know it. Ashley Whitehead. Carlos.
At least 100 people gathered to honor Ashley and 44-year-old Carlos Villalba.
Remember, we're here out of love.
Tommy Evans has been friends with Carlos for 25 years. He told me Carlos was the salt of the earth. He says he was a devoted family man, devoted friend, genuine guy, and the nicest person you've ever met. He adds Carlos was the main provider for his family and says he was a contractor who owned his own construction business. One person who worked with Carlos said his death is a big loss for the construction world.
Carlos Israel Sanchez Villalba, Ashley Whitehead. May their lives live on. Si se puede.
Shira Matsuzawa.
All right, so that was the official news story. And then there was another actor who I guess didn't quite make the cut and didn't get to be in that news story right there. But News is Fake 4 caught one of these actors cracking and laughing, unable to make it through his lines. So let me pull that one up right now. And Big Money Bob, as you can see, gifting some Jake the Awake memberships. So if you get a Jake the Awake membership, make sure to thank Big Money Bob. All right, so there we go. Shout outs to the News is Fake 4 for posting this video. It's short.
I was in the process of getting food, right? You know, we were all talking, having a good time, and next thing you know, you just hear a couple shots go off. And like in my head, I'm not thinking nothing of it because, like, you know, at first I thought it was like some fireworks. Then I had to really sit and think. Boom, they're shooting. So like I look around, see if it's like something serious. Boom, I see a crowd of people running in the background. So boom, I took off. Next thing I know, it was just everybody was running everywhere. Yeah. People was falling over. My bad. People was falling over. My bad.
Bam, bam, bam. Do, 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 do. Nice try, buddy. You almost made it. Better luck next time, brother. So yeah, this is one of the actors who was at the Seattle PSYOP, we'll call it. There you go. So shout outs to the News is Fake 4 for catching that actor. All right. Got a super chat from RY says, so many women celebs have an Adonis belt, which is not a natural feature for a person born female. That reminds me of when Jaren said that God, what's her name from oh shit. Jaren was saying that this one actress was hot. I'm forgetting her fucking name off the top of my head. She was shit. What was her name? I hate when I can't remember someone's name. God, I'm Charlie's Angels bitch. What's a Cameron Diaz? There it is. All right, sorry. I knew it. So Cameron Diaz in a swimsuit. There's some shots that I showed, and Jaren's like, "You guys, Cameron Diaz is not a man. In fact, she's better looking. She's one of the best looking women ever." Right? It's Cameron Diaz, right? Right here. This one. This was the one I remember showing, where it's like straight up and down Cameron Diaz, right? She's got the abs flat, like shoulders going, right? Like this is like, in my opinion, one of the most manly looking versions. Adonis belt right here, right? Very visible. And so I was pointing this out years ago, and Jaren's like, dude, a woman that hot would never touch you. She's hotter than any woman you've ever touched in your life, right? So Jaren tried to shame me for just pointing this out, that hey, look, this shot of Cameron Diaz is not quite as flattering as how she looked in some of them old Hollywood movies, right? And then Jaren was like, she's hotter than any woman you've ever been with. She would never touch you. Cameron Diaz is like one of the hottest women ever. I can't believe you would say that, right? So Jaren came rushing to Cameron Diaz's defense. Anybody remember that? DD Devon Boss says, I'd still hit it. Hey, man. You know, to every his own. Some guys like a straight up and down flat, six-pack ab lady man individual thing. You know, if that's your cup of tea, have at it, man. Okay. ISS blooper. So I caught Level Earth Observer, his latest video. He found this ISS blooper. And we haven't talked about the International Space Station in a while. It's probably been several months since I've brought it up. So since there was a new blooper, and it was a pretty solid video by Leo, Level Earth Observer. Thought I'd give him a shout out, and we'll check it out. It's only 5 minutes. All right, so here's a recent International Space Station blooper. A Russian astronaut exposes the International Space Station live.
We've got a Russian astronaut embarrassing all the Americans here with his antics on the International Space Station. The Russian astronaut is Oleg Kononenko. Oleg is in the middle of our screen here with his arms folded. Oleg's movement and actions on the space station here are so daft, so obvious that he gives the game away for all to see, and it's so damning that you can see the look of embarrassment upon his fellow thespians' mates' faces here. So let's check Oleg out. Like I said, you want to pay particular attention to the faces of Oleg's colleagues. And of course, watch how Oleg moves around the space station. At points, he seems to fly about with his arms folded, turn around, and is able to come backwards, park in tight spots, all without seemingly touching anything in this so-called weightless environment. Incredibly impressive. So let's have a look.
In the back row, from left to right, Andy Mogensen, Frank Rubio, Dmitry Patelin, Jasmine Mogbelli, and Satoshi Furukawa. Konstantin Borisov on the left in the front row, along with Nikolai Chub, Sergei Prokopiev, Oleg Kononenko, and in the far right in the front row.
Just seeing that was ridiculous. You've had Oleg fly forwards, look at something, fly backwards, and then it was almost as if he hit a giant spring and he bounced back forwards towards the screen.
In the back row, from left to right, Andy Mogensen, Frank Rubio, Dmitry Patelin, Jasmine Mogbelli, and Satoshi Furukawa. Konstantin Borisov on the left in the front row.
Ridiculous.
Along with Nikolai Chub, Sergei Prokopiev, Oleg Kononenko, and in the far right in the front row, Laurel O'Hara.
How's he doing that? How's he moving and parking himself there and traveling backwards? That's ridiculous. And now he's bouncing up and down.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other. Definitely one guy sticking out in this video right here, way more so than anyone else. Gee, I wonder which one.
How is he able to change his directional vector? Just like the other astronauts.
Look at him looking around. I'm going to be the one guy that fucking floats around and does whatever I want.
Doing the same bouncing act that I've highlighted in the past. Look how embarrassed his colleagues are here. They know what Oleg's doing gives the game away. More bouncing.
I'm not even sure they're all there together. I've always thought that, like, it looks like these, like they shoot these almost separate, you know, like have this guy with nobody behind him, and then you can fill in the rest of them and make it look like he's hanging out with all these people without them all actually being there. So I feel like you could layer in each one of these people and make it seem like they're all crammed in there without actually having to cram them all in there.
And look how awkward.
And of course, everyone's face is very blurry. The quality on the ISS videos is always like 720p or less, and people's faces are always slightly blurry. And then these hand gestures, always these hand gestures, right? Everybody's got to be like, right? Nobody can just like float like regular, right?
His colleagues look here. What I love is Oleg in a minute flying backwards, seemingly able to stop.
Once again, we're standing by for the voice communications to sync up with the video that we're seeing. We should be getting underway here momentarily.
Yeah, you watch Oleg now fly backwards in a second from, give it a minute here.
Stand by for 2 more minutes.
Quite bouncy, huh?
All right, get ready for this. Get ready. Oleg's going to fly backwards here, stop on the spot, and then start bouncing. Watch. Flying backwards, stops.
And it's like the rest of them are just watching him do that. All right, let's have one guy eating and drinking out of a pouch and have him fucking bobbing up and down and floating around and looking around. And meanwhile, everyone else is just going to stay still and watch him do that.
And then starts bouncing. It's ridiculous.
Like, look,
Start
look how
bouncing.
they're like watching him.
Flying backwards, stops, and then starts bouncing. It's ridiculous.
In the back row.
Just want to come back to that scene again, just quickly. Hops it down, folds his arms, flies backwards, stops on a dime, and then starts bouncing.
Yeah, so you know what the normies are going to say? Personal incredulity. The astronauts have their feet underneath a metal bar. There's a metal bar, and they can have their feet underneath the bar to where they can control themselves by using their feet hooked underneath the bars that are on the floor, right? So they'll just say that his feet are hooked underneath this like bar that's on the floor, and that he's just using his foot to bounce up and down off of the in between the bar and the floor, right? So if there's like a bar along the floor, and then you tuck your foot underneath it, right? Your feet are tucked underneath it. That's what the normies will say. You got to remember, the normies will believe any excuse as long as you have an excuse. Doesn't have to be that well thought out. Doesn't have to completely make sense. You just have to have an official excuse. And the normies will default to the official excuse, which in this case, there's a bar on the floor and his feet are hooked underneath it. And he's just moving along with his feet hooked underneath it. That's all they're going to tell you. Good to see you tonight. Can't cross Antarctica.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Back row, from left to right, Andy Mogensen.
And we'll just see this clip again once more where he does similar silly stuff. I want you to note how he's able to park, twist, turn, go backwards and park in between those people and stop without touching anything. Incredible stuff. Space fans, enlighten me, because this is obvious fraudulent pantomime on display here.
Frank Rubio, Dimitri Patelin, Jasmine Mogbelli, and Satoshi.
I mean, I got to agree here with Big Money Bob. Probably not even real people anymore. Just steal those fake astronauts' paychecks along with the other billions upon billions of dollars from all of us, each other, and every year. So I would think that with their AI technology and the fact that they've been faking this shit for, 15 years, however long the space station's supposedly been up there, they've been doing this shit, right? And so they could feed their old videos, from 10 years ago into the AI and then prompt it to make new space station videos using the old shit that they already faked, right? Get what I'm saying? So you could take a 10-year-old video that you use green screen and harness and then feed it into AI programs and then just tell the AI program to change up the background and change up the astronauts, right? But like keep the same format and the same style of moving around and whatnot. So yeah, man, they don't even need real astronauts to do this anymore. No need for the actors to even dupe us anymore. They've already used the actors in the past to where they have pretty much everything they need already to dupe us using just computer tech, AI and whatnot, right? For sure. If you can, for a fraction of the cost, have AI spit this out, then why would you do it the old-fashioned way and put all these actors, you know, in front of a green screen and harnesses and film it and edit it? You know, I'm sure that costs way more and takes way more time. So yeah, I'll bet you that they've simplified this process to the point where they don't need any of these astronauts or any actors to do anything anymore.
Furukawa, Konstantin Borisov on the left in the front row, along with Nikolai Chub, Sergei Prokopiev, Oleg Kononenko, and in the far right in the front row, Laurel O'Hara.
Check this out for parking.
That's some hilarious floating right there. Let me see if I can do a little floating of my own. Let me turn this back to green. It's like the blue's too dark. See? It's not too hard. I got my foot tucked underneath the bar. And as you guys know, I had all the gravity sucked out of the room. So I'm in an anti-gravity room in a weightless environment right now. See, look, I'm totally upside down right now. How else would I pull this off? Unless I was in a anti-gravitized room. See? I should be falling on my head right now, but I'm not. There you go. No green screen, no harnesses. How did I pull that off, huh? Anti-gravity, of course. And then I just now reactivated the gravity. So now the room has been re-gravitized, right? So now everything's going to fall just as it should.
Amazing. Now, I've got to give it to Oleg. He made an absolute fool of everyone here and smiled whilst doing it. So fair play to him for that. You got to love him for that.
All right. So shout out to Level Earth Observer for the International Space Station blooper here. Good video. All right. Now, again, if you show this to a sheep, they'll just make some excuse that his foot is tucked underneath the bar or whatever, or he's strapped down on purpose so that he doesn't float away, right? So they'll default to whatever excuse they need to before they admit that, oh yeah, all that's fake as fuck. Whenever I see anything space station related, I'm like, how does anyone still believe in this space station? And you know what it is? people don't look into it. Like normies don't look at footage of the space station ever. And they definitely don't look at it for long periods of time with a skeptical mind and try and find things that are wrong, right? So a normal person, A, never looks at the space station footage, and then B, never thinks to review it with a skeptical eye and try and find any anomalies or anything wrong. So it takes a certain type of person to even go look at that footage, let alone find something wrong with it, right? So that's the weird thing about the space station, is that it's not even in people's minds. People don't ever think about it. But if you ever take the time and look at it, it's like the fakest fucking thing ever. It's so fake and so stupid that you can't believe, at least I can't, that anyone actually fucking believes in that. But they're still cranking out that fake station footage. You know, at some point, it's not going to be worth it to them to keep that lie going. So at some point, they're just going to pull the space station down. And so they supposedly in the future are going to purposely crash the space station into the ocean, and it'll be all done and over with. So my guess is that they'll probably have some sort of emergency or PSYOP event where they have to evacuate the space station for good, right? So then they can crash it into the ocean and decommission the space station. So whenever they're ready to sweep the space station underneath the rug, so to speak, and have people forget about it, all they got to do is say, oh, there's a problem with the space station and we needed to evacuate the astronauts and it's been deemed unsafe to go back. So now we're going to crash the space station into the ocean and decommission it permanently. So you'll hear probably some sort of story like that when it's time to get rid of the space station. And then people will just forget that all that fake shit happened. Who's going to go back and look at the old space station footage and talk about how fake it was, right? Again, it takes a certain type of person to go back and look at anything with a skeptical point of view. All right. Big Money Bob gifting 5 Jake the Awake memberships, which I think I already pulled that up. RY says, why can't these people just effing float around space without interlocking their hands or crossing their arms? It can't be that hard in zero gravity. Exactly. So another thing you see them do is this one right here. Now, I would argue there's no reason to hold your own wrist, right? Like what are you trying to keep it from floating away? Oh, well, they have to hold their wrist like this. Otherwise, their arms will float away. Whoa, my arms are floating away. I can't control my floating arms. So I need to tuck them like this so that my hands and arms don't float away. Yeah, that's the scientific reason, RY. So my arms and hands don't just float and flop around like this. All the astronauts would be doing this constantly. So to keep them from doing this, there you go. Whoa! Whoa! There. That'll stop me from having floaty arms and hands. See? Yeah, see, there's no excuse that makes sense. You guys like that? The floaty hands? All right. So check it out, guys. I was thinking if a person gets angry, you might hear someone say, God damn it, right? So if somebody gets angry for whatever reason, you might hear them say, God damn it. But there's people out there who think that it's wrong to use the Lord's name in vain and say, God damn it. So there's people out there who instead of saying, God damn it, they'll say, gosh darn it, or gosh dang it, right? So if you don't want to say God damn it, you can avoid the punishment that God's going to give you in the afterlife by saying gosh. And if you don't want to say damn it, you can say darn it or dang it. However, if you don't mind taking the Lord's name in vain, but you don't want to cuss, you could say God darn it or God dang it. So as it stands, we got God damn it, we got gosh darn it, gosh dang it, we have gosh damn it. So if you don't want to use the Lord's name in vain, but you do want to cuss, you can say gosh damn it. Have you ever heard anybody say gosh damn it? Well, it's an option. And then there's also God dang it and God darn it, right? So there's 6 different options. God damn it, gosh darn it, gosh dang it, gosh damn it, God dang it, and God darn it. Which do you prefer out of the 6? You don't see too many people saying gosh damn it or God darn it, but it is an option. I don't know why I thought about that, but I did. So I wrote down all the different versions of of God damn it. All right. What else did I want to say? What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, we got the Tony Romo arrest footage. So we still got that to get to. Almost forgot about the Tony Homo DUI arrest footage. So you guys want to watch that? The Tony Romo footage? All right. That's like the only thing I haven't pulled up yet, huh? All right. So let me do that. So Tony Romo, former Dallas Cowboys quarterback, he got arrested for DUI. But the funny thing is they have like the body cam footage already released of like the entire process of him getting arrested, and they do the sobriety test, and you get to see him fail his sobriety test. So we'll take a look at this Tony Romo body cam. You guys tell me what you think. And it turns out, guys, here's another person yeah, Tony Romo. Somebody told me in the comments section that I look like Tony Romo. And I was like, Tony Romo, that's a first. No one said that. And then I watched, I'm like, okay. So now, like, I kind of look like Will Duffy. And I kind of look like Tony Romo. And I also kind of look like a young Robert De Niro, apparently. So here's just another guy who I kind of look like. So I'm sure the people who believe in fallen angels and shape-shifting archons, now they have this new theory that I also play the role of Tony Romo. Why else would I be showing this and talking about it?
Hi there, Deputy Cora, Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office.
Were you speaking on the speaker back there?
I was.
I didn't even know you guys said that. So sorry.
All right, reason for my stop today. Yep.
That was what you said.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Reason for my stop today is the unsafe passing on the right, the lane deviation.
Say it louder, I'm sorry.
Unsafe passing on the right, cutting across the gore. Obviously, the gore?
Yes.
It's the marked area.
Gotcha.
Where are you coming from?
Well, I live in Dallas, so I came in to visit Grandpa, so we're here. I'm looking at that, but I got the gore.
You got the what?
Gore, you said?
Yeah.
That's what it is where you cross it?
Yep.
Yes. I got
Okay.
what you're saying. You said
And
I
you were
crossed
coming
it.
from Grandma and Grandpa? What did you say? It's really hard to hear you, dude.
I can't hear you either. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. We got to basically yell at each other.
So he's got this kind of goofy grin on his face. And if you're, you know, being pulled over while you're under the influence, I don't know if you'd have that type of goofy grin. So there's almost like this duper's delight thing. Like if they're putting on like an act and he's just pretending to get a DUI arrest. And this is all just for the camera because, there's the camera and they're showing this to everybody. And this is being played on the nightly news. Everyone gets to see the whole process of the arrest. And when I look at Tony Romo, I'm going to grandma and grandpa's. I can't hear you. Like he's got this thing that he's hiding. Like I'm duping everyone. We're pretending like it's I don't know. There's something about his fucking smile that doesn't feel like an actual DUI stop, right? Where you would be trying to act as sober as possible, right? And you'd be thinking in your head, oh, fuck, I hope I don't get a DUI, right? So yeah, the body language makes me think that this is some scripted shit for the TV. All right. This is a long ass video. So before I get deep into it, I got some super chats from RY. It looks like he enjoyed the floating in space so much he wants me to do a little more. So before we watch this long ass Tony Romo video, let me knock out these quick. Damn it! Let me knock out these quick super chats before I get 20, 30 minutes into this video. All right, Russell Brand floating in space without crossing his arms. Right now, we are up against the corroboration of the oligarchy, and that is why right now it is more important than ever before while I'm aboard the International Space Station for all of humanity to join together and bring our fists up to our face and say once and for all, we have had enough. We shall not be pushed around by the oligarchical patriarchal society of our overlords. I am here in the International Space Station and I'm doing experiments right now which is going to help humanity in this ever existential crisis in which we are faced with the underlying, undefying successes from the previous oligarchical patriarchal state in which we are ever goddamn I ran out of words. I started repeating oligarchical and patriarchal. Shit. Ralphie started clawing at me. He was wondering what I was doing and it threw me off. Damn it. Whenever I start doing Russell Brand, I start trying to think of a bunch of big words to say and string together. And then if I can't think of a big word to say, then the whole fucking impression starts to fail. So I have to write down I don't know, 30 big words like Russell Brand would say, and then try and say all of the big words while floating in space. I totally blew it though. All right, I'll have to work on my Russell Brand floating in space impression. All right, we got Buffalo Kelly. Fake floating Jake is hilarious. Newest bit. So I've been doing the floating in space bit for a while, except I've had different characters float around in space. And then RY, he saw me do Russell Brand in space I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, or whenever. And every once in a while, he wants me to redo the impression. But tonight it sucked. I didn't do the best Russell Brand impression tonight. But, not every impression is going to be a 10 out of 10. Thank you, Buffalo Kelly, RY, and we got Retro Bill here. Says, Jake, it's been a while since I tuned in, and you have gotten younger. God darn you. No, I definitely haven't gotten younger. So, if I don't shave my beard, you'll see a bunch of gray hair coming out of my face, right? If I don't throw some dye in my hair, then I'd pretty much just be all gray. So if I let my gray beard take over my face. And if I don't put dye in my hair, then I would just be like this old grandpa gray ass looking dude. So one of these days, when I let my hair grow out and I don't put dye into it, and I let my beard grow out and I don't shave, you guys are going to be like, holy shit, Jake turned into an old ass grandpa like overnight. He aged significantly in such a short amount of time. So yeah, I shave my gray hairs and I throw a little dye in my hair so that I don't look like I'm an old ass grandpa. So those are my secrets. That's how I stay looking forever young. Right? People wonder if it's a diet or something I'm doing. It's like, well, the secret is if I see gray hair showing up, I shave it off. So, if I see gray hair starting to poke through, see it's starting to poke through right here, means I got to go put some more dye in there. All right. Buffalo Kelly says, fittest flat earther and Asmongold, fake floating in space, trying to convince us it's real, but then Roseanne makes them slip up. Wow, I gotta do all three of these floating in space or fake floating in space. Wow, this one's gonna be challenging. All right. Oh, come on. Here we go. We get into character. All right. So I've been doing my best to expose all of these sneaky shapeshifters. And I just got to say, I'm such a blessed individual to be blessed with the talent to see through these fallen angels' deceptions. And I'm just glad that I'm the chosen one, that the Heavenly Father chose to expose this truth to all of you guys. And that's why these fallen angels, they're going out of their way to try and cover up my work. But you're going to have to wake up pretty early in the morning if you want to fool me. Oh my fucking God. Have you guys seen this? Fittest flat earther floating around in the International Space Station? This is freaking crazy. You guys, this is so freaking crazy. I mean, I used to dream about being on board of the International Space Station, but now that I'm here, this is like so freaking surreal, you guys. I just can't believe that I'm actually looking down on Earth right now through the window. I totally just looked down on Earth right now, you guys. Like, I'm about to freaking cry. It's so moving. And that's why we were chosen by the Heavenly Father as the lucky ones who get to be up here looking down upon the earth below. And that's because there's a whole lot of sneaky shapeshifting that's going on out there.
You guys are fucking full of shit. You're not fucking floating in space. You're not going to fool me. They're pretending to float around in a fucking studio because they're a bunch of fucking commies who are trying to trick you into believing in fake space. You know, I'm married to one of the smartest men in the world, Richie from Boston, and he told me all about what you fucking commie clowns are doing up there. You know, he said that you're using harnesses and wires, you know, to like float around and using green screens. So I got to say, any fucking commies who are trying to pretend to be on board the space station, you can kiss my fat ass. All right, there you go. Whew. How in the hell am I going to bring that impression to life? Well, I think I did. I did about as good of a job as anybody could do. Like if you were to ask any other man to try and pull this off,
I doubt they would even be able to give you an attempt, right? Like, who in their right mind would even attempt to pull off this impression? Me. I'm the only one in my right mind who would do it. And that's because some would say I'm in my wrong mind. Yeah, was it? Was it fire? All right. Yeah. All right. Hopefully that made up for the shitty Russell Brand impression. All right. Let's get back to Tony Homo and his DUI arrest. Right. Here we go.
I feel like I'm yelling at you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Where are you coming from?
The golf course. And I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa.
Okay. All right. I'll take a driver's license from you.
You got it. What's your name?
Deputy Court.
So I want to meet Grandma and Grandpa, and I passed the Gore, which is the place you're talking about that we traveled over. I got it. You're saying I went over the white line.
What's a good phone number for you?
It's my dad's.
All right. What's your dad's same last name?
Romo. Yeah. So I got the same.
Okay. All right. Hang tight for me.
All right. So they're doing a check on his license, and then she comes back.
All right. How many drinks have you had? You're coming from a golf course?
I played in a golf tournament at the Wisconsin State Amateur.
Okay.
So it's like a USGA event.
Okay. All right. I'm going to run you through some fields.
What's that mean?
Field sobriety tests. Are you willing to take any field sobriety tests? I'm sorry? Yes, you're denying to step out of the vehicle pending fields?
I'm just going to call my lawyer.
Okay, step out of the vehicle.
I'm going to call my lawyer.
Nope, step out of the vehicle.
I'm not allowed to.
Step out of the vehicle.
I'm going to call my lawyer. Step out of the vehicle. I think I'm just going to call my lawyer. Step out of the vehicle. Maybe I'm going to call. Step out of the vehicle. Right. So then they're going through this, like, I'm going to call my lawyer. No, step out of the vehicle spiel. Almost, I don't know. There's something about this that doesn't seem genuine to me.
You're going to take me through
Field sobriety test.
I'm still allowed to call my lawyer, right?
You're not.
I'm not allowed
Nope,
to.
step out of the vehicle. 24 dispatch.
24.
I'll take an additional 1017. He's
I'm okay
not
doing
stepping
it,
out of the
but
vehicle for field.
I'll do it. I'm just saying that I'm not allowed to call my lawyer.
Any available squad can head to backward to southbound and back up to 417.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not
You
allowed
are pending an OWI with an investigation. Operating while intoxicated.
You obviously get up.
I want you to step out of the vehicle.
Copy. Yeah. 60, the subject is refused to step out of the field.
Yeah, there's people who will claim that if you say the magic words, they have to leave you alone. But if they ask you to do these tests of breathalyzer and all that, and you say no, then they'll take you to jail and they'll say that you refused, right? So if you say no, then they can arrest you. And then if you say yes, then they'll be like, stand on one foot and say the alphabet backwards while having your eyes closed, right? And if you fucking like, show any sort of hesitation at all, then they're going to use that against you, of like, oh yeah, we want you to stand on your tippy toe and then say the alphabet backwards and close your eyes and then if you like start to like stumble or lose your balance, then of course they're like, oh yeah, we got you. Now we have more than enough information to prove that you're drunk, right? So it's like you're damned if you do or damned if you don't at this point. If you tell them no, then they'll be like, oh, you're refusing, you're under arrest. You tell them yes, then they make you do a bunch of stupid shit, and then they're like, yep, you're definitely drunk. I've seen guys and heard stories where guys blow like a 0, but the cops still take them in and still arrest them for DUI, even though they blow 0s. Because they're like, you still seem like you're high on something. So we're going to take you in either way. Right? So it's almost like if they want to get you, they'll get you. And then there's those guys where if you say this or do this, then they'll leave you alone every time. But I've seen guys pull the old like, oh, I don't have a license. I'm just a traveler and I'm just traveling. And this isn't a motor vehicle. And I'm not a licensed vehicle operator. No, I'm just a traveler. And then they rip your ass out of the car, tow the car, and throw you in jail. So there's those guys out there who can, get away with saying some stuff to the cop and the cop lets them go. But then there's cops who, no matter what you say or do, if they want to take you down, they will take you down.
All right, so you're going to step in front of my vehicle? Step in front of my vehicle. Step in front of my vehicle, yes.
We'll you back on this. They'll be cleared at C20 shortly.
24 squad, slow it down. He's out of the vehicle. I'll be conveying him to the Sally Port for field.
I'm fine. It's fine.
Turn around for me.
Additional squads coming.
There's a good chance that.
Patting you down for weapons, okay? No weapons on you?
you?
Okay, all right. You're detained pending an OWI investigation. Deputy 4, sir.
Are you going to take me through I thought you were taking me through
So the fact that like somebody like Tony Romo, who's a bit of a celebrity, not only is he a former NFL player, but he's an announcer for current NFL games. And he's one of the more popular announcers, right? And so he's got a cushy job with CBS. I don't know if he like got fired because of this or what, but anyway, so to get a DUI and then have the entire body cam footage then uploaded like before it even goes to trial or anything, I don't know. I find that strange, right? Like, oh, we live in a day and age where if you get a DUI, then by tomorrow, every single person's going to see the entire arrest from start to finish on the body cam footage. So the fact that it was made available so fast, I find that I find that hard to believe, like, oh, high profile DUI arrest and the body cam footage is available for everyone to watch right away.
As of right now, we're on a leveled ground. We're on a bridge. I want to convey you somewhere that's going to be an even surface, free of debris.
Yes, I agree. So we don't get hit.
Turn around for me.
I get you.
Yep.
I just want to make sure it doesn't too far have a PVT.
24, that's a negative.
You can put me off in the jail. I have them.
So they take him to the jail, I guess. And then they have him in the parking lot of the jail. And they run the field sobriety test in the parking lot at the jail.
No worries.
I'm sorry. 2 back surgeries. I need to stop.
So, has he been searched or like petted on check for weapons?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So then he starts doing these stretches like, oh, I got back surgery and pain out. And he's like smiling and fucking, right. At this point, I'm like, dude, Are you trying to get yourself arrested? This is ridiculous. Like, once you start doing these stretches and shit on their car, like now it's just becoming comical.
She's been perfect. I'll probably do the same for us nurses. All right.
Just stand in the middle for me. Yep. And you're just going to turn around. You're going to have stand facing me. Feet together.
Yep. Just slight half step forward off the push bar. Perfect. Thank you.
Feet together.
Sorry.
Okay. Feet together, arms down at your side. Okay. Any head injuries? Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
Well, over the years, yes, but not recently. No.
Okay. So please stand with your feet together and your hands down at the side. We're not doing.
Allison here says she's met Tony Romo and Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman is like a 3-time Super Bowl winner. So Aikman is like considered the most legendary quarterback in Dallas Cowboy history, whereas Romo was a decent QB in the league, but he never got to win a Super Bowl, and he never won the big games. So he would like get the team like to the playoffs and then blow it. So Romo goes down as a decent quarterback, but Aikman will be remembered in Dallas as a legend for the rest of his life. So Aikman will be revered as a god in the state of Texas because he won the Super Bowls with like the best Cowboys team of all time, you know? So Romo here going through this humiliation ritual, kind of funny. It just doesn't I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't seem real to me.
Please stand with your feet together and your hands down at your side. Do not do anything until I tell you. Do you understand?
Do you want shoes on?
What do you prefer?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm fine.
I'm going to check your eyes. Please keep your head still during the test.
Okay.
Look at the stimulus. And
Kelly says, no, Aikman is really gay. Well, they might all be. Who knows? The National Fruit League.
follow the movement of the stimulus with your eyes only.
All right.
Keep looking at the stimulus until the test is over.
Stimulus.
Do you understand? Stimulus, top of my pen, right over here, okay?
Yep.
Do you understand?
All right. I got you.
Okay. Can you maintain the position?
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm gonna make a couple of passes, okay? Top of my pen.
So what am I doing? Just tell me.
Which,
Am I looking at it or?
you're gonna look at the top of my pen. Stimulus, okay?
So my eyes are moving. Yeah.
Yes. Make a couple passes, okay?
Yeah. So I'm fine.
So apparently, you know, if you've been drinking or smoking weed, they can stick this flashlight in your eyes and be like, here, I want you to follow this light. And then you're like looking from side to side. And then they can be like, ah, yes. When you look left to right, your eye did a thing that intoxicated people's eyes do. Like, so they have this process where like, oh, I'm going to shine a flashlight. I'm going to do this. And I want you to do. And then when you're if you go like this, if you start to move your head at all, but don't move your head, only your eyes, right? So they have all this spiel there in order for you to like fail. And this is how they can create this case against you. I shine the light directly in the suspect's eyes and perform this field sobriety test, and his eye shot to the left or the right in a certain way that is indicative of an intoxicated person. See? That's how easy it is for them to get you on these tests.
Following this as you. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Am I supposed to move my head or am I supposed to keep it square?
Would you like the instructions one more time, sir? Gotta keep your head still. So, eyes and eyes. Just the eyes. Yep.
It looks like it, but it's really not that big of a humiliating deal. I mean, honestly, I doubt that anyone's going to remember this in a few years, right? So pretty lackluster humiliation ritual, but definitely it could be a humiliation ritual nonetheless. So I've seen a bit of an uptick in these celebrity DUI videos. There's a few other ones that came out not too long ago. So perhaps this is like a new way that they can like humiliate the celebrities, but at the same time make them seem like they're down to earth regular people like you or me. You know, he puts his pants on one leg at a time, and if he has one too many to drink, he, you know, gets busted just like you or I would if we got behind the wheel, you know, too intoxicated. So they make this, they make it out like these celebrities are, they have their downfalls and their pitfalls, and they're just like you and me, you know, they make mistakes too. So I think the whole, like this whole DUI thing is to make them more like relatable to the common man while humiliating them at the same time, right?
Just to go and get there. Sorry.
Thanks again, Davey D. Hopefully your bowling night went good tonight. Hopefully your team won, or your team did good in the league. All right, so yeah, here's the Tony Romo body cam footage, and it's like they repeat the same video from like another angle. So this says that it's an hour long, in over an hour long, but the footage is repeated from like another angle. It's like the same stuff right here.
We got to go step by step.
Okay. All right. So.
So at this point, he's got his slippers off and he's barefoot in the parking lot, and he's doing these stretches again because they want him to like walk one foot in front of the other. So he takes his slippers off and he does these stretches just in order to do the walk one foot in front of the other field sobriety test.
All right. So 3 steps and then turn around.
Would you like me to?
One more time.
Sure.
Just in case.
Place your left foot on the line, real or imaginary. Place your right foot on the line ahead of the left foot with the heel of your right foot against the toe of the left foot. I'm demonstrating for you. This is my left foot. I'm taking my right foot, putting it in front of my left, heel to toe touching, okay?
I'm saying you want me to turn around and go back toward the car.
So you're going to take 9 heel to toe steps on that line?
Like 9 that way or just 3 and then
You're going to take 9 heel to toe steps back along that same line, keeping your front foot, lead foot forward. I can start over with the instructions if you would like, sir.
just take steps, right? 9 steps.
So they want him to walk in an unnatural way. Like nobody walks 1 foot in front of the other, like your heel touching your toe in front of the other like that. Nobody does that. So then when you go to do it and you're in front of cops, your legs will get all fucking shaky and you'll be like, oh shit, I don't want to like lose my balance or stumble or anything. So they can get you all like freaked out. And then you have to like do this weird walking routine that you don't normally walk like that. So all this shit is designed specifically to trip you up and make you look like you're drunk, even if you're not, right? You could just be really nervous and shaky, hoping that you don't mess this up in any sort of way. And it could make you look like you're intoxicated because you're trying so hard not to lose your balance or whatever, right? So I would argue that all this is just set up for them to cuff you up and be like, oh yeah, you failed.
9 steps. Nine heel to toe steps. Sorry, sir?
Yeah, see, he didn't do it right. He took normal steps. They want you to put your heel in front of your toe over and over and over again. They want you to walk like a fucking weirdo where you stick your heel and touch your toe and you're only walking like one little step at a time, which is not how anybody normally walks. So since he didn't follow instructions right there, they can say, oh yeah, see, he didn't do what we told him to do. He walked regular instead of the irregular way that we instructed him to walk. So he must be intoxicated.
No, the next text is going to be the one leg stand. Okay? Please stand with your feet. Please stand with your feet together and your arms down at the side. I'm demonstrating it for you. Do not start the test until I tell you to do so. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay. Would you like me to read the first part over again?
Thank you.
Please stand with your feet together, arms down at the side. Do not start the test until I tell you to do so. Do you understand?
I do.
When I tell you to start, raise either leg
Okay.
with the foot approximately 6 inches off the ground, keeping your foot parallel to the ground.
Like this.
Keep both legs straight and your arms down at the side.
Here.
So foot parallel to the ground, okay?
Yeah, I don't care who you are. Like, even if you haven't been drinking at all, like, let's say you've never had alcohol. In the right circumstance, if you lift one of your legs and then you like lose your balance for a second and have to put it down, that's because most people don't stand on one foot for no reason. You stand on both your legs. So I would argue, even if you haven't had a drop to drink, that if I tell you to stand on one foot for like a full minute and then you make it to like 15, 20 seconds and then you put it down just because you just started to kind of lose your bet. That doesn't mean you're drunk or intoxicated, but see what I'm saying? So they use this shit that like even a non-intoxicated person could just like slightly lose their balance for a second because they're not used to standing on one foot in front of cops with guns who are about to arrest them if they lose their balance. So yeah, if you're like, oh fuck, if I lose my balance right now while all these cops are watching me, it's going to make me look drunk. Of course that's going to mess with your balance, right? So I would argue like all these tests, like even if you haven't had anything to drink, a lot of these are still designed to make you look like you have been drinking.
All right. Keep both legs straight and your arms down at the side. Holding that position, count out loud in the following manner.
Okay.
1001,
Okay.
1002, 1003, and so on until you are told to stop. Keep your arms at your sides at all time and keep.
Rumford says, just give me the breathalyzer. Better to be in jail than listening to this lady. Exactly. Because even if you pass all this, they'll still whip out the breathalyzer and want you to blow into that. So I've seen people get through all this just fine, but then they whip out the breathalyzer. And then they can be like, oh yeah, you're right on the legal limit. So even though you did excellent in the field sobriety test, now that you've blown into this machine and we see that you're right on the legal limit, now we're going to arrest you for DUI, right? So put you through all this shit and you could pass with flying colors, but if they get you to blow and then it blows a number, shit, they don't even have to get you to blow a number. Like I said, I've heard of people blowing zeros and still getting arrested for driving under the influence.
Watching the raised foot. I'm going to demonstrate for you, okay? And then you just tell me which foot you want to raise, okay? I think I'm going to raise my right, okay? Approximately 6 inches, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
See, he didn't make it the full time, and then he dropped his foot back down. So either he did that on purpose or he's drunk, right?
Okay. Approximately 6 inches, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
See, so he made it about 4 seconds, and then he put his foot down. Oh, not long enough. You fail.
And so on until I tell you to stop. Okay? Got to tell you to begin. Do you understand?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Which foot are you choosing to raise, sir?
I'm trying to think about which one's stronger with all the actual relief I've done with all. Raise the right. I feel like I might incorporate this in the PT. She's kind of activating the backside. She's pretty good. Oh, I know that was at least 8 or 9 seconds. By the way, I do this consistently every day, but sorry.
You
not to.
willing to submit to a PBT
What is that?
machine that you blow in?
It's a preliminary.
It does not determine the results of
Oh
my
no,
test.
we're not doing that.
Okay.
I've already heard from all the lawyers. Don't ever do that.
Okay.
So.
All right.
We're not going to do that.
Okay.
Turn around, you're under arrest.
Did I pass this test?
You turn around.
No, I didn't. Huh? Can I use my phone real quick? Because there's a plane taking off.
You're
My
under
parents are
arrest for
Okay.
operating
We'll
while
get to
under
that.
the influence, okay?
You can turn
I'll read you a sheet and everything.
So he refused the breathalyzer, instantly arrested. See? So they made him go through all that shit just so he could say, no, I don't want to do the breathalyzer. Well, then why did you do all that other shit? See what I'm saying? So I feel like they used Tony to put on a show for the people. You know, like, this could happen to you. This is what a DUI looks like, sort of thing. But there's something about it, his smile, the whole process, the way it was filmed and whatnot. It just seems like a staged DUI. But there's plenty of real DUIs, you know, from people doing similar shit where the cop will ask them to do all that same stuff. So anyway, that's like some of the trending news that went around was that Tony Romo got arrested for that DUI. Normally, I wouldn't give a shit, but we're in kind of a slow, scripted news period. So that's like one of the more popular things that's happened lately. So, yeah, if there was some better psyops going on, some juicier things going on right now, I probably wouldn't show you guys that. But right now, the scripted news cycle is extremely boring. So here we are looking at Tony Romo's possible scripted DUI arrest. All right. I got some super chats that came in. Got one here. It says, actually, I missed a couple from some other people. Let me go back and catch up on these in order. RY said, can you sing a few lines from Limelight from Rush? All right, let me see what I can do here.
Living in the limelight, the universal dream for those who wish to see. Those who wish to be must put aside the emulation and get on with the fascination, the real relation, the undenying dream. The undenying dream.
All right. There's a little bit of Limelight for you.
Living in a fish islands, caught in the camera eye. I have no heart to lie. One must pretend a stranger is a long-awaited friend.
All right. There's a few lines. What I could remember. You know, I went through a box and I found a bunch of old VHS cassette tapes that I haven't watched in a long time. And I've been carrying around all these old VHS cassette tapes in this plastic bin, right? A big Rubbermaid plastic bin. I got these old VHS cassette tapes from the 80s and 90s, early 2000s. And I realized I don't even have a working VCR, but I have a bin full of VHS tapes. So I'm carrying around old VHS tapes that I haven't seen in like over a decade. And I don't even have a working VCR. I guess one of these days I'll have to buy a VCR and dust off some of these old tapes. So I was going through this plastic bin and I found these tapes, right? And then I was looking through them, deciding whether I want to try and sell them or keep them or throw them away. And I found an old VHS cassette tape of Labyrinth. How many of you guys remember the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie, right? It's a pretty cool movie from the late 80s. So I found the VHS copy that I have of Labyrinth, and I was holding it in my hand, and I haven't seen that movie in many years, like from front to back, right? And haven't sat and watched that particular VHS in many, many, many years. So I was holding the VHS in my hand, and memories just automatically started coming back. It was almost like I started viewing scenes from the movie in my head just because I was holding the VHS in my hand. So a movie that I haven't seen in so many years, I can't even remember the last time I actually watched The Labyrinth in full. But just holding it and thinking about it for like a minute, all these different scenes in my head started to play, right? All these memories of Labyrinth came back, which brought back other memories from my childhood and stuff. So it's crazy how just holding a VHS cassette tape and not even playing it, like in my brain, scenes started playing from the movie, like scenes that I haven't seen in years, just started happening in my head, just holding on to the VHS. It was so weird. I'm like, man, I'm carrying around these old VHS tapes. I haven't watched them in forever. And I don't even have a working VHS player. And I'm carrying around these tapes. So anyway, so I had the movie Labyrinth that I found, and it reminded me of a song that I used to like in the movie. And so I haven't sang the song in a long time. So when I rehooked up my PA, I sang a song from the movie Labyrinth for the first time in many, many years. In fact, I'm going to try and bring back some nostalgic memories right here, right now. You guys remember this one?
You remind me of the babe with the power of voodoo, hoodoo, you do. I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry. What should I do? My baby's love had gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew what type of magic spells to use. Slime and snails or poppy dog tails, thunder or light. And baby says, dance, dance, magic, dance. Dance magic, put that baby smell on me. Slap that baby, make him scream. Jump, jump the magic, jump. Jump the magic, jump that baby spell on me. Jump that baby, make him scream.
You guys remember that shit? I tried to remember as many of the lyrics as I could.
I saw my baby trying hard as babe could try. What could I do? My baby's love had gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew.
Right. So anyway, I was holding on to the video Labyrinth, and that fucking song came back into my head. And then when I hooked up my PA, I sang that song. Brought back a bunch of memories from the Labyrinth. Anyway, I don't know if you guys remember that one. And LaFleur, Davey D from the LaFleur Network says, have you smashed that like button and rang the bell? That's right. Hit the like button, ring the bell. In fact, you can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Subscribe now and ring-a-ling-a-dingy. There you go. Subscribe now. Ring-a-ling-a-dingy. That's right. Smash that thumbs up button all night long till I break my schlong. All right. Retro Bill says, special request. Can you please do Roseanne doing a sobriety test while floating in space? Roseanne doing a sobriety test?
All right, well, I can tell you right now that, like, while I'm here floating around in space, I'm not going to be able to do any of your fucking tests, all right? I haven't been drinking, okay? This is how I act all the time, all right? So I'm not going to be doing any of your sobriety tests. Becky! Get down here and perform these sobriety tests! You know, Darlene, you know, she told me that if I ever get pulled over, that I shouldn't consent to doing these sobriety tests. So, you know, I think I'm just going to have to decline because, you know,
Here. All right, I'm starting to run out of energy. I realized about the fourth time or fifth time now, I'm floating in space. Starting to run out of energy. So I'm going to have to wrap the stream up here soon. I've been on here for 3 hours and I can feel myself getting hungry, losing energy rapidly. So I don't know how many more times I'll be able to float in space tonight, you guys. All right. RY says, all the world's indeed a stage. Rush. That's right. Rush is a pretty cool band. The only problem with Rush is that Geddy can't sing his songs anymore and hasn't been able to sing those songs in a long time. So if you look at like the last 10 years of Rush performances, they all suck donkey dick because Geddy can't sing. So you have to go back a long, long time to hear like Geddy singing good and Rush playing good. So yeah, you got to go back and watch the really old Rush performances. If you watch a Rush from the last 10 years, it's bad. Mainly because Geddy Lee sucks at singing. And then anything where Rush is playing without Neil Peart on drums, Geddy's blowing it on the vocals, I'm just not interested. So yeah, current Rush, no thank you. But old school Rush, they're cool. All right. All right, guys. I pretty much made it through all the shit that I wanted to talk about tonight. So I guess with that said, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats, and then I'll wrap it up. My dog wants to go out for a walk, and I'm getting a little tired. We've been on here for 3 hours, so I guess it's about that time. Let me make sure I don't miss any super chats. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So we're going to wrap it up now. Got Ralph here. He wants to go out on a walk. He's been waiting patiently. You go outside, Ralphie. You go outside. I'm a baby. So with that said, is Jake and Ralph. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Wake 'em Up Thursday edition. And I will try and possibly stream again Saturday night if I can find a few topics to talk about. And if I can get my shit together, I'll try and stream for you guys again on Saturday. But if not, then I'll catch you next Wednesday. All right, y'all. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again for hanging out. We had a ton of support tonight. A bunch of super chats came in and did several different impressions tonight and went over a bunch of different news stories. So there you go. Another Wake 'em Up Wednesday, Thursday edition in the books. All right. Well, with that said, I'm getting off here. Got one last super chat coming in from Davey D from the LaFleur Network. Said, thanks for the stream. I'll have to go back and watch. Want to invite everyone to the Lair of LaFleur Sunday night. All right, so it looks like Davey's going to debut a new video on Sunday. So check that out if you're around Sunday. All right, so until next time, y'all, this is your favorite YouTuber, your favorite comedian, and mine as well, Jake the Awake, signing out. I love you guys. Peace out. Much love. Good night, and bye-bye.